Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. I've got a different Dylan with me this week because our regular has fucking vanished.
Hurry!
A massive re. So, same podcast, just a different guy. He'll probably arrive about halfway through, to be honest, won't he?
Probably knowing him.
Yeah, knowing him, he's going to arrive halfway through. Oh, by the way, this one's from Ireland, so be prepared for a lot of swearing and drinking jokes.
Fuck you.
I'm sorry. I had to get it out of the way. And let's be honest, if Jacksepticeye has anything to go by, then you can probably see what I mean. So yes, what is the news for this week? Lord, I can't remember. Have you seen any news relating to any comic book shows or movies or anything?
Not personally. I've seen that there's news about a Constantine movie. Like a live action one.
Okay,
but
this is the first I've heard of it. Let's hear it. So what?
No, this has been going around for a while now. It's basically, do you know CW's Constantine?
Yeah, of course, because he's been moved over to Legends as a series regular.
Yeah, he has gone on record saying that he wants his own live action movie. And after Constantine City of Demons, because I'm 99% certain he voiced the Constantine.
Yeah, he voiced the Constantine in that.
Yeah,
Also,
he's been on
just
record.
Coincidence that Savitar has now started typing in the Discord, by the way. Shall we restart? Shall we restart the podcast or not?
Up to you.
Nah, fuck it. He can suffer. Oh dear. I'm glad I'm not screen capping the Discord for this.
I called him a nonce. Okay, never mind, Jack's the nonce.
So, okay, yeah, so the guy wants to do a live action movie.
Yes, he's been on record saying that he'd love to act a live action version of Constantine because, like, to be fair, he looks the role. He can do a perfect accent.
I'm actually not sure if Matt Ryan actually comes from the UK or not.
I can tell you now.
Yeah, it's something you'd see on IMDb.
British.
Yeah, so if he's from around that area, then he's got a good advantage. If he's from around like Manchester, where I think Constantine's from traditionally, then yeah, he's good.
He also, I've never actually watched this, but he also voiced Constantine in Justice League Dark.
I've watched Justice League Dark, and it's just like,
it's the exact same art style as Constantine.
Yeah, it is, but
City
it's also like I only really watched that for Retribution the Demon with his sweet ass rhymes. So, okay, someone is messaging me. Did you?
So yeah, as I was just quickly saying, Matt Ryan's been on record saying he'd love to make a movie on it. I believe this was whenever he was making the Constantine show before it was
cancelled.
Yeah, it was cancelled, wasn't it?
Until I saw him in Arrow, I never really understood the appeal to the character. It's just like, oh, he's your traditional sarcastic British dude.
Hmm. So
I have no idea what my grandmother's just
article.
sent me, but she's just sent me a thing on WhatsApp. So anyone who can hear that, I'm sorry. Which said, "There's bad news for dyslexics on the 28th of October. Your cocks go black." What? I'm sorry. I've no idea what she's on about. So, yeah.
Where is it? I can't find the.
So he wants to do a movie. So I'm guessing.
Yeah, he was on record saying that he wants to.
I'm
He
guessing he's
wants
trying
to
to
do
get
a
a
live
petition
action,
going for
and
it then.
from what I've seen from his TV show, I think his TV show, like I haven't personally watched it, but from what I've heard, his TV show, the way he was done, he wasn't done properly. I think now again, this is just going off of what I've heard because I haven't watched it. I think that they made a couple mistakes here and there, but when it comes to City of Demons, they hit the nail in the coffin.
I don't really care much for Constantine as a character. I think he's good as comic relief in some other stuff, and that's about it, really. You could argue.
Oh no, I love the character because here's the thing with City of Demons and just with Constantine as a whole, he's like one of those characters that you can get off, for example, swearing with. I think the one time the CW will allow swearing will be if it's from Constantine.
They arguably allow it already. It's just like depending on your view of it, I guess, on what counts as a swear word or not. Because like they've obviously said crap a lot in the shows, so whether you can
Crap is not a swear word.
I guess it comes down to people's views really, but also traditionally they're doing these they're doing this into like mid-evening, so a lot of kids who would normally be watching, they'll have gone to bed. Like BBFC puts these at like the fucking certificate ratings for all of these at about 15s for each of them. But no, like Constantine is a good character for comic relief. I'd prefer him to keep in that role. So if you want to put him in as one of the more major side characters into another movie, great. But that's just like my personal opinion on him. I don't really see him being able to sell anything for DC in terms of a live action one, with him as the main star. But that's just me personally.
So you think he should just be more comic relief?
It's not really that he is comic relief, it's just a lot of the lines I've seen him be given on things like Arrow and Legends so far. That's sort of what he fits into. Naturally where the character goes and where Matt Ryan plays him with as well. How Matt Ryan plays him as well. But that's just my take, so whether you agree with that or not, I don't know. I've seen some comic book news this week. I've just remembered it while you were going on about Constantine. Have you watched any of the Netflix Marvel shows?
I haven't, but I know where this is going.
Okay, so they've just cancelled Luke Cage as well as Iron Fist being cancelled. And there's rumours that Daredevil is cancelled now as well for season 4.
Now, the thing that genuinely puzzles me is why cancel Luke Cage?
I mean, like, arguably, none of these Netflix shows are very good, and I'm saying that on record.
No, I will fully agree with you on that. But why cancel? Luke Cage was announced as cancelled before Iron Fist, which caused a huge controversy.
I saw Iron Fist was cancelled first, and then they cancelled Luke Cage. But I will say one thing about, particularly for the Jessica Jones casting and the Luke Cage casting, they've got those very well done. But also, like, they are not very good. Like, the fight choreography in them, although in some places impressive, isn't really worth the while. The stories aren't great. And
I get you.
And, like, arguably, I'm not sure if that's due to budgetary reasons or if it's something else, but also, in some of them, you've got these really big stars. You've got Sigourney Weaver in The Defenders, and it's just like, well, why is she here? She doesn't come across as like the villain they were trying to portray her as in there.
Yeah, I get you.
And the writing full stop isn't very good. Like if you want to skip the majority of a season. I did this with Daredevil. If you want to watch maybe the first episode or the first 2 episodes and then skip straight ahead to the finale, you won't really feel as if you missed anything. And that's just me personally.
I don't really know what to say from there.
Is that because you agree, or because you think I've pretty much covered everything?
You've pretty much covered it.
So that's apparently cancelled, but now he fucking shows up. But the other big part of this news is that apparently there's a Heroes for Hire series coming out. Marvel tweeted it and then they deleted the tweet.
I believe I
Hello.
I heard about it.
That is very loud. Yeah, carry on.
I said I did hear about that, but I haven't looked into it or anything.
No, I like they tweeted it out, and then they just deleted it. And they got rid of it. Which I'm not really sure how I feel, to be perfectly honest. Now that
Kanan.
regular Dylan's hopefully sorted out all the fucking background noise. Welcome to the fucking podcast, you late cunt.
Hey, you could have rang me. Remember, I wasn't online, so you're messaging someone who's offline, expecting them to see messages.
You've got your mobile data.
Also, you're echoing as hell.
It's not that bad.
It's funny. It makes him sound quite impressive, actually, for once in his life.
Sorry, but I'd rather not. Dylan, I'm straight.
What?
You said fuck me, and I said I'm sorry, but I'd rather not. I'm straight.
Oh God. Yeah.
He uses that joke.
Whenever yeah.
I'm a rat, old cunt.
Do that again.
Start the fucking background noise wherever you are, please, and then come back.
Yeah. All right.
Because otherwise, if I can find a way how, I am gonna kick you from this fucking call.
Kick from the group chat, kicks him from the call.
Yeah, I could actually just
Yeah,
remove him from the group and invite him back when he says he's sorted out the background noise.
Well, I'm heading up to my room right now, sitting off the bottle. You fucking cunt.
Okay, so regular Dylan, who I'm not sure why I still do these with you. I think it's because I'm somehow obligated to at this point, because otherwise you'll feel sad and want to die. What comic book news have you seen this week?
Comic book news.
Like comic book shows
No.
or movies?
I haven't seen any news about them. Why?
Just because it's what we were talking about and it's sort of become a segment in this now?
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen any news. Why?
Okay, just because that's what we're discussing at the moment.
One moment. Let me just. There's got to be a way to cancel out your echoing. Fucking hell.
Yeah, it's called ignoring it.
How's that? Yeah, it's still there or is it gone?
Is this motherfucker munching on the He's munching on the podcast.
No. What are you talking
The
about?
echo gone, by the way.
No. It's even worse.
Okay, how's that? Hello?
Same.
Okay, I'm going to get back to my lounge then. It might just...
When I say the way you're echoing, it makes you sound ghostly. That's how bad the echo is. Not just the loudness, but it repeats multiple times. There's no way that's just your lounge.
Okay, how's that?
A bit better.
Okay, I've figured out which dial it is on the mic. How's that? Sorted?
Pretty much. I can live with that.
Just a tiny bit more. There we go, right, because I'm still figuring out the dials and shit.
There we go. Yep, there we go. That's
Right,
perfect.
I do apologise if that picks up on the podcast. I don't think it will, because I was messing around with the dials a lot before the... I was doing mic tests before. I don't think it picks up on the actual...
Well, if it does, just think of it this way, Kanan. If you mess up in this podcast, don't worry. People will already stop watching.
only because you're around. I think they were preferring it when it was just me and DylanChill.
No. If they left, they left long ago.
Now we've got a hilarious Irishman with us today. I've already made the.
Oh yeah, we have Irish. We got an Irishman with us.
Dylan, you can. By the way, Dylan, I've already made the traditional Irish jokes about being in a pub or swearing a lot, so you can't make them.
Well, I can if I fucking want, so oh well.
No,
Don't feel like
I've
You
already
can't
annoyed
fucking
Dylan.
curse. You're not fucking Irish, you piece of fucking shit.
Well, there's a guy that lives in the same place as me, and while he's not Irish, he was born in a pub. There you go. Emma,
He's never gonna come back and do another one of these if you stay, Dylan.
was you literally still in a... Kanan,
Yes.
was you literally still in the 5-minute rambly / random news?
Yeah, we were. Dylan had just finished telling me about how Matt Ryan wants to play a live-action Constantine. So we were on the Netflix have cancelled the Marvel's Luke Cage and the Marvel's Iron Fist show.
Oh yeah, that was like a week before last, I think. Can't remember.
Yeah,
Either
they
late
cancelled the Iron Fist
night
one
last night.
first, and then Luke Cage got cancelled a couple of days ago.
Ah.
But the interesting thing about this news is that Marvel tweeted out a photo. It said Marvel's Heroes for Hire, and then they immediately deleted the tweet.
Damn. So only a few people saw it, and then they shared it.
I didn't see it on Twitter. I saw it somewhere else, and I'm just like, because arguably, I was saying that these Netflix shows, they're not very good. You could like just watch the first 2 episodes, and then you could skip straight ahead to the finale, and you will not feel like you've missed anything.
Oh wow.
Because I did that with Daredevil, and it's just like, I don't really feel like I've missed much. There's nothing really going on here, is there?
Was just the rest about family and relationships?
It just felt like it was bad. Like, the writing was forgettable, and like the casting for Luke Cage and Jessica Jones is great. I don't really care.
So basically,
I don't really care about Daredevil as a hero much anyway, and
my fucking watch
Now
it.
he's
Iron Fist has more
blind.
bad
Good
luck
for
behind it.
you.
Iron Fist has a lot of bad luck behind it with like the fight scenes in that they're not very good because Finn Jones.
Listen, let's all be honest, it ain't just the fight, it's the show.
It's the shows in general, but the main thing that dragged it down was the fight scenes for it because Finn
They
Jones
were
only given
shit.
15.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, they were shit. But Finn Jones was only given 15 minutes to learn the fight choreography for a scene before it was done.
Fucking hell.
So he was only given 15 minutes to learn some martial arts.
15 minutes is not enough.
No,
An hour was barely enough.
and he
Maybe
was-
an hour of solid practice, you might just be able to get it. Fucking hell.
Yeah, so he was barely able to like get it anywhere close to what the character needed to be because he is like the martial arts guy of the Marvel universe. Is Iron Fist. Because the only thing that brought me any joy when I was watching part of the Defenders, which, to be fair, like if you watch that, then arguably that's probably the only good one. But I wouldn't say it's good enough for a second season. The only real worthwhile bit is when this blind guy named Stick, yes, that's the actual character's name, calls Iron Fist a thundering dumbass.
Oh, finally.
So that is like the most worthwhile bit.
What is? Because you literally just like on my end, you disappeared for ages.
Okay, well, the Defenders arguably has the best writing, but the only bit that really brought
Oh, a
any
new
joy-
show. Okay.
Yeah. The only bit that really brought any joy is when Stick, that's the actual character's name, called Iron Fist a thundering dumbass. This is coming from a guy who works for a secret group called The Chased, so I'll let you decide how much credibility that's worth.
Huh?
I'll let you decide how much credibility it's worth, considering the character Stick works for a secret group called The Chased.
And what's credible? Because literally, I don't know what. I think it's this phone because you keep cutting out again. I literally think it might be this phone. I'm on my normal phone at the moment. The one you told me last time to use. And oh look, it's going even worse than the other time.
You have closed anything else that would be using mobile data, haven't you?
Mm-hmm. It's literally on Discord, only on Discord open, with the screen turned off.
Anyway, shall we move on? Shall we move on to the Flash episode from yesterday?
Yes, we shall.
Well, I watched,
It was amazing.
I watched it this morning and I fucking hated it. That's a lie, by the way. I didn't hate it. I was putting.
I was about to just leave.
I know. I was thinking, is he lying now? Or is he lying earlier?
No, I'm lying now for the sake of comedic points. No, it's very good. Like, a lot of the concerns I expressed last week have largely been addressed. There are still parts that are making me go, only a little bit. Like, it's like just bits that last a few seconds where it's just like, really?
Where it's just like, Iris.
Arguably,
Oh, fuck off, Dylan. Iris is better in this. Even Kanan said that. And he's the number one
I'm taking the
Iris
piss
hater.
out of Kanan.
Thank you.
You fucking...
Finally, I'm not the only one. Or you say it really seriously, and I can never tell with you. So, like your bullying of a member in the different groups.
you're the one who said not to bring that up, and you're bringing it up, so fuck off, Dylan. No, like, I thought it was good, but, like, there was some weak writing stuff, which, you know, we're, what, 3 episodes in now. Normally, if I'm not impressed within the first 5, I'll have more or less given up hope. So it's been a bit of a rocky ride so far. Anyway, I'll start with you, DylanChill, because you're the guest. What did you think of it?
I thought it was very good. One of my favorite... One of the parts I hate the most was the mentioning of a meme by Ralph.
The mentioning of a what by Ralph, sorry?
A meme.
Yeah, but why hate it though? That's natural. That would happen in real
That's why I hate it.
life. More accurate. Because they want it. What's wrong with you?
Okay, let's make a show
wrong
more
with you?
accurate, where it has a guy who is struck by lightning, a bunch of chemicals, runs extremely fast, who also happens to have a daughter, who's now ran back in time, is currently communicating with her parents, and is still in existence. Yes,
But it's still
let us comment on how the fact that you want it to be more real.
It's set in our own universe.
We need to bring him along as a regular for these podcasts, Dylan.
I think we do. Yes, I think we do.
Congratulations, DylanChill. You're hired as a permanent podcast host.
We've,
I mean,
we're
after
now-
hearing that comment from Savitar, I don't really know if I want to be.
Wait, what?
You feel like that about 90% of the time. I need someone to help me with this, or I've got to go into therapy for 5 years. That's what the doctors have said, anyway.
Don't worry, with Dylan here, he'll help stabilise it all. It'll run a lot more smoothly.
I think an
Instead
Irishman is
of
what
back
we
and
need
forth.
to stabilise this podcast. We need more diversity. Anyway.
And how more diverse than Irish, huh?
It's you.
Okay. No, arguably the bit I disliked the most in this episode was, am I the only one who doesn't really buy Tom Cavanaugh doing a French accent?
Wait, you don't believe his French accent?
No, it really... his
Ouch,
American
ouch,
accent-
ouch, ouch, ouch. That is very harsh, Kanan. Because,
I know I know he's not
he grew-
French.
he's Canadian growing up speaking French.
Not all Canadians speak French, you know. It's only certain parts
No,
of
no,
Canada.
no. Apparently he grew up speaking French. So, ouch.
I don't buy... It's like he's trying to combine it with his American accent. Is he trying to go for British accent? Is he trying to go for French?
Kanan.
Yes.
That's the fucking point!
No, I'm confused though. I'm saying this outside of like show canon basically. Is he like in terms of the acting direction he was given? Was he given Was he told try and do a French accent and his American slipped through, or was he told to try and do a British accent but it wasn't really believable? Because it feels like there are 3 fucking accents at play here. I'm just like...
Yes, thank you. I heard British and French and an American as well. Yeah.
So I'm just there like, what fucking accent have they told him to do? Because he's clearly not comfortable with it.
It was like
Why
one
can't
day.
why can't he just do British? Why can't he just do British?
You could tell the days that they recorded the scenes. Any days that he sounded British, or any scenes where he sounded British, they all recorded on one day. Any scenes he sounded American, one day. Anytime he sound French, another.
But what about when he swaps mid-sentence?
Well, then that's exactly midnight.
No,
Thank you.
You wouldn't notice it unless you're looking at something critically. I think most people would probably let it go. I'm just like, I'm really confused. Thank you.
Fuck off, deal. We don't need that fucking shit song.
No, but you wouldn't notice it unless you're really looking for it, and even then, most people would let it go. It's just like, what direction have they given him? Because he's clearly not comfortable with trying to do all 3 of these fucking accents.
I know.
So...
Okay, Jordan.
Okay, I'm just going to quickly address the elephant in the room. Tornado twins.
Okay, this might go a bit better now. I probably won't cut out.
No, you sound 10 million times quieter, Switchback.
Now do you see what I have to deal with?
Now I won't be cutting out mid-sentence and stuff like that, which has been pissing me off. So it means I end up not knowing what the user's saying. Because literally...
Could you at least get some sort of better mic for the phone then? One that you can plug in? An aux cable mic? Please?
Phones don't have that kind of microphone, do they? The aux is headset only.
Then get a fucking headset!
Well, I would if I actually had the money. What?
You can get one in Tesco's for like £14.
Did nobody hear me address the elephant in the room?
The Tornado Twins. Yeah, I'm thinking it's a bit soon for anything like that, personally.
No, but like her reaction.
Yeah. Well, we go through the episode in order. Now you literally just skipped right to the end. GG. Are we just doing everything in reverse today? Okay, the next one, it's she moves into the loft.
No, I'm just saying, like, with the whole Tom Cavanaugh accent thing, like, Jesus.
Yeah.
Weakest part of the episode for you guys?
Huh. I don't actually, it might be. Well, I do like Sherlock. He might have been. Yeah, he might have been the weakest part.
He was the weakest part because the introduction.
I do like.
The introduction to him, Jesus Christ! Like, could you be any more? Could you be
cancerous?
Any more? Well, not that, but could you be any more try hard than that, really? Because you're pretty much echoing in the cover of the books, which I don't have a problem with, but I just feel like it was done too. They were trying too hard for it.
I do like how Cisco immediately called him Cumberbatch, though.
Yeah, but still, I'm sorry. The number of references they made and everything else to me, just because you make those references or you give him the kind of introduction that you have, it does not make for a good character or a good scene. It just.
So is this advice about references also to me? Yeah.
You can just fuck off with your references.
So basically, you have a feel.
It just keeps cutting out.
Yep.
What about you, DylanChill? Weakest part of the episode for you?
I actually really liked Sherlock. I have to admit.
Okay, so you're going to be his defendant throughout the entire podcast then. What was the weakest
Sorry.
part?
Both of us are. I already said I liked him. Fucking hell, a minute ago.
Wait, what did I like about him?
Well, no, what was the weakest point of the episode for you? That was just Dylan.
Weakest point. I think the whole no. Fuck, I don't know, because I have a lot more to say about Arrow than I do the Flash at the minute, because the Flash kind of has a straightforward path, whereas Arrow doesn't at this moment in time. But
I'll
we're
say
not talking
one
You've
thing
felt
which
this
I think
podcast.
is a very good thing just about the season in general is they've really simplified what story they're trying to tell here.
Yeah.
Arguably, which I think is probably great.
Yeah.
Did any of the runtime or anything feel padded to anyone? Did it feel like it was just overdone?
No.
That they put things in there for the sake of putting them in there, or do you think it all fit together in the end?
There's a little Easter egg scene that robber, but that's about it. That's the only force. And even then, it was integrated well.
I will say one thing. I really laughed out loud when they had that meme of Ralph. I sent you an all
Yeah, that
caps
was
text.
good.
I don't think you fucking saw it.
I did. You said,
He's reading it.
I quote, ah, yes, really loudly.
And you're just like, the fuck is he on about?
No, I watched the episode last night. I was like, what is that?
You didn't realise it was the same guy. That robber has the worst luck ever because he's been taken down by the same guy in such a similar way twice.
Just like the other guy as well, remember? The guy that tried to rob Bay twice.
Those two have
Oh.
to be the most unlucky people in history of Central City.
By the way, I've
I
got.
hope they both come back at one point, team up.
Carry
Oh my
on,
God.
DylanChill before you were rudely interrupted.
Hey,
I was just
not
gonna
good.
say, one thing that I think they did, I wouldn't say extremely well, but I personally really enjoyed, was the Caitlyn storyline. I'm really enjoying that at the moment.
I really enjoy that as well because Danielle Panabaker's a great actress and she does do very well
Yeah.
with a lot of the material she was given. When Dylan
Yeah.
and I did the season 4 horror podcast review podcast, I said she was probably one of the best characters of the season
Oh,
She's-
100%.
because she's the only one who arguably had any consistency, which they've done well for her, even if it feels like they've done things for her in a repetitive manner. I'm going to get back to that kind of repetitive manner later, but
Yeah.
she is
Oh,
done
and Kanan.
consistently.
Oh. One sec.
But what about Cisco in this episode? He was one of the worst things for me in episode 2.
Oh,
In
yeah, he was
episode
quite
2, I liked his storyline in this.
In
In
this,
the
it was
sense-
good. In episode 2, it was awful, and I'm glad they've largely addressed a lot of that. They seem to have taken a lot of my criticisms from that episode, and they've addressed them here. I think someone in the cast must have said to the scriptwriters for it, "No, don't force this in because this is going to really annoy a lot of the viewers."
Yeah.
So-
Either that or the time travelers as well. Oh yeah, Kanan. Have you still got those Pringles from earlier?
I've got the Pringles tubes. They're part of the mic stand.
Oh. I've got more Pringles. Got more today.
But no, like they did Cisco really well in this episode. Credit to the people credit to whatever happened that sort of changed that and it got things working well again. It really took its sweet ass time, but it looks like they
Yeah.
finally moved on from that little storyline. Besides maybe a couple of mentions here or there.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Because it took, I felt like it was done for way too long. One episode, fine. Second episode, not really needed. Unless this is a purely romantic show, it's fucking not. Then you do
Well-
not need that.
Look this
No,
way, he's
but I
got
want to
his
see
one.
where the thing with Gypsy goes. I really do.
Arguably
eventually
though, they
get
don't
together.
need her. They don't need the character there anymore. She never really offered anything when she was there. To any
Oh no, I
major
know,
stories.
but I personally, like, as a viewer, would love to see what happens there.
I
Because think
wouldn't. I
the
feel
character
it's
has a
just
lot
a
more potential.
like bring her back for a crossover maybe, but arguably after that you don't really need her. Like she was brought in season 3, and that was the only relevant point she did was trying to bring back HR. I fucking wish that
The accelerated man.
he's not that relevant or useful either, but they've not put him in since that small cameo really.
No, I know, but I feel like this season, a heavy factor of beating Cicada will be the multiverse. For the
Probably,
simple
yeah.
reason,
Because the reason I feel that way is because
Sherlock made a big thing about how he's always managed to help them catch Cicada. I think
That's not
his name in
why.
the show. So I think that will factor into it. He's always helped people catch him. So why would he stop now?
No, I know, but that's not why.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's
Okay.
your theory then?
My whole thing is, if you remember correctly, whenever Barry created Flashpoint and then came back, obviously the timeline changed.
Yeah.
But in alternate Earth, nothing changed for them.
That's right.
how he said about that in season 3, and they said we've never been to space before. Yeah.
So my theory is there is going to be something to do with the multiverse that will help either figure out Cicada's identity or help them defeat Cicada.
Yeah, all in he's all in something.
I think that's a
All in.
fake name, personally. I feel. I'll come back to this later because it's to do with a theory I've been thinking about. Completely original, but I feel that's probably.
I've got a couple theories. I've got a couple theories for the end.
Of course you have.
I'm a theorist.
No, let's move on to it though. The opening scene. What did we think?
The
That was
opening scene.
I love one special little cameo.
Yeah, the Savitar suit.
Yeah, boy.
No, to be fair, when we saw that, and I'm just like, okay, they've done a nice few nods here. They've put in some things that do seem to be a little bit of a throwback. Because,
I bet
you
you
know,
hated one of them,
it's season 5, you're allowed to put throwbacks in there in places, so that's good.
I just hope Savitar comes back.
I know you hope Savitar comes back. Switch over to your other fucking phone or go out to Tesco's while on this podcast and buy a fucking headset.
Do you realise how far Tesco's is? By the time I get to Tesco's, we've finished the podcast.
Dylan, we don't give a fuck. Do it.
No.
Okay, let me ask you this seriously. Do you want me to keep on cutting out every like 10 seconds, or do you want me to be a little bit quieter but stay consistent?
I'd rather the
Neither.
sound
Just
quality,
go
to be
get a
honest.
fucking decent mic.
There's that too. Can we just boot him out the podcast?
Do it.
No.
Yeah, fuck it, he's gone. Bye-bye. Okay. I actually did it. So it's just us. I'm bracing for an angry message from him. No, but seriously though, what did you think of that? Like, her walking through the Flash Museum?
Add it back, you nonce.
He's just sent me a message. He's just said, you cunts.
Yeah, I got that as well.
I want to leave him out of it because I'm sick of having that shitty mic every time. He's only allowed in if he uses the... You're only allowed in if you use the better fucking microphone.
I can't. My phone will crash even if I don't use anything else. I need a better phone. Would you fucking know that?
Okay, well, you two argue. I'm gonna go piss.
What you've got to do is wait a few weeks. Fucking hell, what, about a month or two, I'll be able to get a fucking better phone. All you've got to do is wait till then. 2 or 3 more podcasts. Not much.
Why am I friends with you? Yeah, so opening scene, young Nora. Here's a question for you. Here's a question for both of you, actually. Why do you think
Dylan
she's
won't
so
hear it.
fascinated with Cicada?
Because she said herself. All kids fear monsters. They never caught that. That's why she's obsessed with them.
Well, no, that's just showing that she's afraid of him. That doesn't really explain the obsession or anything.
But even Iris about it, they never caught him. She's trying to help them. That's why she's so obsessed.
I'm done my pit.
Crazy. But also Barry made a good point that I'm gonna address a bit more later. Of course, he said the whole she's trying to make her Cicada. It's like, are you hinting at something there?
I mean, arguably, like, this episode was purely about driving the narrative forward, so...
Yeah.
And it's doing the same with the side stories. It wasn't like last week's, which arguably felt like filler, save for, like, the beginning and end scenes. Because that's what it was.
Yeah.
And it wasn't very good filler or anything regardless anyway, because I just didn't enjoy it in the slightest, really. Well, I didn't enjoy it. Like, I think on its own it would have been good, but it still arguably isn't really worth it. At least not for a second episode. Moving into this one, though, I'm glad they're finally driving the narrative forward. It really does feel like that it's been a long time coming. And it's about fucking time it's come as well, because we fucking needed it. Do you both not agree? Okay, there you are.
Good at finally getting it.
Yeah, we need, like you said, we need it for a long time. So glad to finally get
Why
it.
do you sound like like you're talking to us through a cushion?
Because I've got a pop filter on the microphone. Or are you talking to
Not
me?
you, Savitar.
Okay, yeah, that makes complete sense. Because there's microphone.
Did you just call me Savitar? Savitar.
Savitar.
This is probably going to arguably the most entertaining podcast we've ever done.
Does.
Okay, so since I'm not going to rant about her, but I feel like DylanChill does really want to, let's move on to characters, and we'll start off with Iris.
Wait, I don't want to. What? You're on drugs?
Well, because you clearly don't like her. What didn't you like about her in this episode?
I don't. Get the fuck.
So Kanan, obviously you're trying to hint that you didn't like something. What did you find wrong about Iris in this episode?
I just
You're
feel
clearly trying
like
to hint at
I feel
something.
like she slowed it down, not in a bad way, but she
What?
didn't. She didn't really do anything. She's not been in it much so far this season, which I'm glad for, because I feel like attention does need to be taken away from her. But
Yeah.
Pussy.
thank you.
Get out, we're not Venom. We're not Venom.
Oh no, I'm talking about you.
Thank you.
But arguably, the point of her being... I'm glad that they're finally trying to give her a story arc or something away from it. But can we get fucking to it already, apart from just having her be there at Team Flash, or not be there at all?
By the way, Kanan, you know, back in the second episode,
Yeah.
you said you think Iris is in the future the reason Nora don't like her is because she's neglectful or something.
Yeah, not intentionally, but
Yeah. Well, even I saw the trailer for the next episode, and Iris was like, "How could I do something like that?" So Iris did something extremely bad in the future.
I've seen.
I have an idea.
Iris was crying.
I've
Nora
seen-
was in tears.
I've seen the trailer, and I'm just like, I'll get to that later. But I'm
Yeah,
not.
that's
I'm
amazing.
not, I'm not too optimistic, but we'll get.
Yeah,
to that
go.
later.
Okay, well, when we get that part, Dylan, when we get to that part, I'll give you a link to the next episode's trailer. It's amazing. You get the same
I'll bear back and watching
stadium
it.
from season 1.
Hmm.
Okay, we'll probably just do the trailer part now. We could just do a virus. Might as well. Then we get back to the episode.
You want to do it now? Is he watching it?
Yeah, might as well. It's about he is. He went. Be right back watching it. But remember, it's about Iris, so it makes sense to do it now, doesn't it?
All right, yeah,
Heavily
fine.
about Iris.
Fine, we'll do it now because it almost looks like it's an Iris central episode. But
A bit in a good way.
okay.
Yeah. Now you see what I mean by how she was in tears.
I
was
watched it.
fucked up.
I watched it from the channel you linked me last night.
They cut. They cut.
I already have a theory for that.
Yeah, you should have watched that one. They cut off half. They cut off half the trailer.
They cut off all the
first
bits with
half.
text. So link me the actual one, then I'll watch it quickly on podcast.
Yeah, one sec.
But
Because I was sorting out a neighbour's laptop last night, so I watched it in HD on a laptop last night
great.
as it came out on
Good-
YouTube.
Good to
It's
know.
fucking amazing.
But
You know,
I think
Flying
arguably she's just slowing things down. She's not doing anything apart from hanging around with Team Flash. And
You're funny because she doesn't have speed.
I'm glad she doesn't have speed and
No,
this.
that was a.
I know it was a joke. But am I the only one who feels like she's slowing things down? Not in a bad way, but just in
Yep.
a way that's kind of tedious and you wish it would get on with things now.
Yeah.
It's not even the fact that she's bad anymore. Or, well, she's not the worst. I still think there's a lot of fucking work to do before he's properly improved. But it's getting there slowly. But,
here we go. Here you go. Here you go, Kane.
thank you. Right, let me watch this.
That's all right. We haven't got the extended one yet, unfortunately.
You can't blame yourself for something future you might do.
Mom, I don't understand how I could do something like that to her.
Nora, you gotta snap out of this.
What I have to do is kill you.
I'm confuzzled.
Yeah, that was the whole trailer from earlier. It just cut out the text, really, and that's it.
And they cut off the first half of it. It starts off with Mum. That's halfway through the trailer.
Now, looking at that, what do you think? Are you glad
Wait,
you...
one second. What the fuck?
Are you glad that she's finally getting an episode where she's going to have that storyline with Nora evolve?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let you explain this then, because I'm going to give a counter-argument to this.
Oh, I
Oh,
just.
by the
don't
way, it's a
want
competition and fucking Savitar's the judge.
to.
What?
Oh, okay. Are you sure you want to do this now?
Wait,
Why the
wait,
fuck
what
not?
you judging?
Kanan,
judging?
are you sure you want to
Yeah,
do
let's
this?
fucking do it.
Wait,
Why not?
I just watched the trailer. What are you judging?
So, no, you're judging. You're judging who has the best argument in this debate. Let's fucking
And
go.
what are you debating? I was watching the trailer.
He's arguing against why this episode will not be a good idea, next week's one. I'm arguing as to
Okay.
why it will be.
Okay.
Okay, my simple
You know,
argument is the only reason why Kanan wants this episode is because it makes Iris look like shit.
It's not the only reason I want it. Like,
Oh, really? Give us another reason.
no, the reason I want it is because I've
please do.
I've been arguing for a long time that I really want her to have a storyline away from Barry, or a storyline that's not about them being clingy to each other, that really has potential. The writers have either
Season
heard my
3.
concerns or they've seen my infamous rant in the podcast review, and they're like, well, shit, we need to do something, and this finally looks like it's been addressed.
Or here's a crazy theory. Maybe you didn't factor into it at all, and they realised it all by themselves.
It took them a long fucking time to realise if that's the case, but let's be honest, a large portion of fans who were Outcra, who had a massive uproar as to how bad she was in seasons 3 and 4, have probably factored into it that largely they were having to listen to the fans. So the reason that this episode's a good idea is the fact that they're finally giving her a storyline that's not involving clinging to Barry. And I was always hesitant about her being in there until episode 1.
Instead, the storyline is about future Iris clinging to future Barry's memory. Nah. All if it
I mean,
is.
I can probably tell you what it is, but
She probably neglected Nora.
no, that's not it at all.
Well, no, but like the point
What's
is
your
that
theory?
they're finally giving her that storyline that does show that Candice Patton can act this character. I'm convinced that I've been convinced through episode 1 largely. She's not really done anything else as of yet until next episode. That they have given her better writing. They've given her writing that does seem like Okay, they love each other in the comics and they're married in the comics. Great, that's good. We've got that done. Now let's have
Well,
it.
we're not married in comics anymore. Timeline change.
They were married in the comics. We've got that done. Now let's have her have a relationship with another character, but it's a lot more complicated.
Yeah.
So what? So besides you thinking that I want Iris to look shit, what is your actual reason for this episode being a bad idea?
Because I think they should be focusing on Caitlyn at the minute.
Okay, right. So, okay.
And I can back that up.
Well, no, I'm really interested as to where her storyline is going, but just because there's
but I can back
arguably
it
an
up
episode coming soon
story-wise.
anyway that does focus on that, which
Yeah.
which comes after people have gotten back used to the show being back again and they're sort of re-established with the characters.
Episode 6 is called the Ice.
It's called The Icicle Cometh, episode 6, because Dylan's mic is absolute crap.
Yeah, wait a few more weeks and I'll have a better one, so...
Yeah, nah, fuck off. But, like, okay, so, explain this to me. Why do you think they should be focusing on Caitlyn? We know she's got a good storyline, but in a more consistent way, why should the episode be about Caitlyn as opposed to Iris?
I think it should be dedicated to Caitlyn because, think about it. If they go and focus on Caitlyn, where can the show take that storyline from there?
Isn't that arguably the same question for this Nora hating Iris? Where do they take that storyline, though?
Well, no, because basically, by continuing this plot or story, this is going to lead towards the Tornado Twins. There's no doubt in my mind that that is not happening after that end scene there with Sherlock.
Yeah.
So, by focusing on Caitlyn first, in a sense, we get that out of the way. And, wait, give me a minute.
My question is though, do we want it out of the way this soon? Because I feel that's probably going to be one of the strongest storylines for the first half of the season. So do we really want it out of the way so soon and so quickly?
But then you could say that really you could say the same for the Tornado Twins. Why have it? Why not? That could be a very good story arc. Why get through it? Like, why?
I want to get used to the idea that like Jessica Kennedy Parker does well as Nora first, because if she has to play the roles of both twins, I want them to be at least having one of them.
You do realise it's Don and Dawn in the comics. So in this case, if she's called Nora, then the other twin would probably be called Henry, i.e., a boy.
I don't know the way they'll go with it. The CW writers are known to, even though whether they want accuracy or not, they are known for changing things around. Maybe for sometimes better, sometimes worse.
I.e. Cicada right now.
Pardon?
I.e. Cicada right now.
Yeah.
He's not David Hirsch. So yeah, that like I said, they must have done the same things they've done with Julian. Marked him with a different name, changed it at the last second. Because I saw Thomas Hirsch, I was like, but his name's David. But yeah.
Well, my point is, I don't really care much for the West family life, if you will. I care about it when it comes to we need them to. The idea of Barry and Iris being married in comics or in the show is that this is done to the point where it's to show that how strong family, friends, and all that can make you. It's not to try and market off the whole relationship thing. I would.
And then and then also the lack of it, how bad it can make you. Because there'll be a parallel. Cicada, without his family, he's all bad, and that would be the parallel this season.
There is the parallel this season, and I've not really got a problem with that, but I think the episode next week will be good in learning more of Nora's story, but I think besides that, it's not going to be too great.
Oh, and Dylan.
Yes.
Dylan, you said about you think about Tornado Twins. You reckon that's going to happen because of the way she acted when Sherlock talked to her, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I saw a thing yesterday. Obviously we know Iris did something really bad in that. Someone said, what if like Iris was like all neglectful and that, and then she just gave away one of the twins? and then they was that twin was adopted by one of the Thorn, basically making Cobalt Blue.
Number one,
Into it.
I hate you, Dylan, because
Basically-
you stole half of the rest of my thing. Number two,
What?
I disagree.
Okay, so
Oh.
so why do you disagree? Because I know a little bit about Cobalt Blue, and arguably I don't really want to see him at this point.
He's
in time.
Barry's twin. We've already had that. Unless he's Eddie, then I support it. But if not, then we've already had Savitar. It'd be retreading old ground.
I don't.
Because Savitar's
You know, I'll get to this
Savitar's
point.
like,
Speaking
yeah,
of treading old
used to-
ground, is it not retreading old ground to have Nora be hiding this big mysterious thing that Mr. Walking Reference Man has already sort of hinted at? It's just like, come on, we've seen this twice before in seasons 1 and 2. Don't put this in again. You're gonna lose me as a viewer if you keep repeating that as a storyline because it gets
Actually, no,
boring.
you won't. You won't lose. They won't lose you as a viewer, for fuck's sake, will they? You have to watch it for the game.
They'll lose my interest. I'll watch it for the sake of the game, and that would be about it.
Yeah.
They'll lose my interest to the point that, well, my game's in an alternate timeline anyway. So, arguably, I can just get away with just...
If Cicada does come into your game, please make him David Hershock is meant to be. Please do.
He's not.
That's
In,
if he
he's
is.
not going to be in it.
If he ends up appearing, DLC, whatever. Big if. It's a big if, though.
Anyway, back to you, Dylan. Why do you actually disagree with this?
I agree with the disowning thing, but I disagree with the villain thing.
Okay, so what do you think would happen then?
I agree that she did disown one of them, but for the simple
Not disown.
reason...
No, give one away. Literally give one up for adoption. Disowning is literally keeping him as family, but basically saying, I don't want to deal with you much.
The exact thing I've done with my dad. Moving on.
Basically, what my mum did to me temporarily.
I think, though, that arguably... Well, would they be a villain or a hero, though, in your mind, then, DylanChill? Because I think that's the question, really, isn't it? Are they a hero? Are they a villain? Are they something else?
So, wait, something else. Are you saying they become Oliver?
I'm saying that maybe they're just an anti-hero, or
Yeah.
maybe they just use their
Anti-hero,
powers to help people, but they're also self-serving. Not in the way of anti-heroes or anti-villains, but they're just like...
Oh no,
Just-
no. Okay, you're suggesting the idea of anti-hero, yeah? Well, I looked at the other corner of my room.
You're saying this other twin would be a speedster, yes?
Potentially.
And if it's a speedster, well, but in the book, in the comics, both Barry's kids are speedsters. And literally runs in the family after. But of course they could change it. But no, if it is a speedster, and if it is an anti-hero, and it's a he, I just looked across my room. It better not be Godspeed. That would literally, they cannot do anything with Godspeed really. Godspeed himself is a rip-off of Hunter Zolomon from the comics, combined with Hunter Zolomon from the show.
Until we've put him into Lightning's Retribution. But,
Yeah, thankfully, you're going to be like the only
guy who knows how to voice him.
Also, a lot of comic books already like my game just because Godspeed gets killed right in the demo.
I wasn't even trying
Yeah.
to suggest it was Godspeed or anything like that. I was just suggesting,
No.
oh, maybe it's someone who has speed powers, but they just use them for things like everyday life. They're not interested in being a hero or anything like that.
So like Barry in episode 7 where he's just using it to do everything. But
Yeah,
it's minus-
basically, it would be intriguing to see things like that, and they're sort of forced into doing the odd superhero thing occasionally because they have no other choice.
Yeah, like they see someone running from a building, like falling off a building. they
Yeah,
quickly
that
save
kind
them.
of thing. Like,
before
it's
it
not,
gets- yeah.
or stopping something basic. Not like they're going up against, like, very dangerous people. They're just literally gonna put them down and carry on running before
They're
anyone sees
basically,
them.
they're basically Ezra Miller's Flash, aren't they? They just pushing people and run away.
In this case, Catch or something similar. But back to you, DylanChill. What do you think would happen then?
But just call
if
Dylan
there
Chill,
was adoption?
Dylan, call me Savitar. It'll be a lot easier.
Yeah, sure. Okay, Dylan, what do you think?
Because I kind of zoned out because I was in the middle of talking and then got cut off.
blame Savitar for that. No, you were
Oi.
talking about the thing to do with the possible adoption. You disagreed with the villain.
Oh, yes. And again, I don't believe in the adoption thing. There's one of two ways I think this is going to go. Either Iris gave up one of the kids because she couldn't cope because Barry had obviously just gone missing and they were only young. Or alternatively, one of the kids ran away, being the other twin. Now, for the adoption thing, I think that storyline is more or less just going to go where XS found either XS found him or he found XS, and it's gonna it's gonna spring off from there when they start learning about each other, and I feel like one of them is gonna be manipulating the other. Personally, I'd love to see the spin of Nora being the bad guy come the end, because I'm telling you right now, Cicada is not the big bad of the season. He is like the mid-season big bad. And
so you mean like the arc? He's like one half of the season big bad, basically, and then the other half
yes, kind of like.
Kanan doesn't agree with that at all.
What was it? James Gordon? No, not Gordon. From Arrow, whatever that dude's name was. He was the mid-season finale, so I think that's going to be the same.
James Dragon or Richard Dragon?
Ricardo Diaz.
Oh, Ricardo Diaz. Who the fuck's that dragon guy then? Who the fuck is he?
Same person.
Oh, okay.
He's one of the versions of Richard Dragon in the comics.
Ah.
Yeah, Dylan.
Oh.
Okay.
Dylan, you know you said you don't think it will be adoption, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm really hoping it's not. I really hope that it doesn't go adoption route, because then they're basically ruining any chance of something they set up in season 1. They set up something in season 1, and if they make it so one of the Nora's children was adopted, they would wreck any chance to be able to do anything with that. Because obviously, comics Barry had a twin that was adopted by the Thorn. Well, Eddie is obviously a Thorn in the same age as Barry, and he also had this blue emblem around his neck that was cobalt blue. And the comics, Cobalt Blue had, like, Malcolm Thorne. He had the exact same. He had the same talisman around his neck.
I mean,
And
arguably,
Eddie was sucked into a multiversal portal singularity. So, yeah, he could be anywhere right now.
Arguably, I don't want to see anything that goes that way. Dylan Savitar's right. I do disagree with you. I do think Cicada's the big bad, but he'll be taking a backseat for a while if it's anything like what Arrow did with Prometheus.
Yeah, that's the only reason he might do like that, because of Arrow.
Well, no, I mean,
Arrow...
like the powers in the latest episode give a bit more of a hint that, yeah, you'd need an entire season to beat this guy if he keeps getting other things from his Thor's dagger.
However, we've already established it's an entirely different person now. It's a different person. It's Cicada this time. She knows they never beat the original version.
Oh, then they
It's
never
changed now,
captured
isn't it?
it? It's not to say they never beat him, but I
If they
think
beat him,
I
they
think it's a
capture him.
fake name. I think it's a fake name, but I'll get to that later.
Oh, well, All-In or David Hirsch is a fake name. Or
Um,
or maybe it's All-In Hirsch. I don't know.
I was thinking.
That would be
I
interesting.
think Colin's the fake name, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, well, no, what I'm saying is All-In, as in that's his first name. It's his real first name, but then his second name's Hirsch, maybe. Because, yeah, maybe they do it like that. Or it's either that or All-In is the second name, and that's fake. It's one or the other.
We'll get to that. We'll address that later.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no. You know what? Speaking of Nora, let's get on to her. Like, what do you think of that ending with her?
She's a baddie.
Really? I don't think she's a baddie. I don't think she's a baddie. I just think she's misguided.
Really?
I think she's
Cicada didn't kill Vibe when she gave him that look.
You do realise Cisco said something about her reminding him, and then she did something, and even said that Cicada needed to think that Vibe was dead. So she made Cisco remember there's other ways to Vibe, and then faked his death so that Cicada would go away. Yep, she's totally evil.
Yeah, what about the episode before, though? Do you remember when he was first gonna kill Cisco? And then Nora gave him a look, and he didn't.
No, he was going to
No,
kill
no, no,
Barry
no,
and
she
she
shouted,
yelled Dad.
he was about to kill Barry and she shouted Dad, and he just froze and looked at her. Then remember in this episode, Joe's baby started crying, and he literally, that's when he turned and looked and saw Cecile. He doesn't like killing, he doesn't like
Oh.
that part. Yeah,
Okay.
because
Good
he
point.
said to Joe, you have a nice family. They're saying like you're putting them in danger by refusing, by basically putting you're putting
It's
them
one
in
of the reasons I think
danger.
he's the season-long big bad is because he has the kind of story arc that you need time to explore. And if it means you need to put him on a backseat as Cicada, but have him come along as his alter ego, who, from what we've been told, is a politician. There's nothing we've not really seen much.
Oh
in
no,
terms of
he's a
that.
blue collar. He's I read it again. He's a blue collar everyman. Whether that means politician, I don't know.
Or no, he's a blue collar everything.
Yeah, I wouldn't know the specifics. Like, I think it just means family man. It doesn't really state his occupation outside of, well, when he's not going around murdering people with.
In the comics, he was a preacher and an architect.
Yeah, in this.
Wait, really? Was he a preacher?
Yes, he was a he was a preacher. Yes, he was religious. Yes.
He was saying breacher as a joke. He was making him.
I didn't hear it because
Well, that's the
Wait,
point.
Mike,
That was
I
the
didn't hear
point.
that.
No, I did that because whenever you go say preacher, you go like it sounds like you're really close to your mic and you just start.
I am close to my mic.
No,
Preacher.
Savitar.
Yes, my new name is Sabadar.
Yes. How many times? Is it really that hard to understand?
Sabadar, the Tard of Speed.
That makes a lot of sense when it comes to you, actually. No, but one of the reasons I think he is a season-long big bad is because he does have this interesting storyline, which I have to get into in more detail later, because otherwise I need to say the theory, and it's not at that point in the episode. But,
Remember, you're putting that picture on my theory, on one of my theories.
no, I'm not. I've already got the images set up for the podcast.
All we've got to do is flash it on the screen for like 2 seconds when I say,
Fight me.
and this guy.
Fight
No.
me. Come down and fight me, boy. Or go and
Okay,
fight
1 minute.
Dylan.
I wonder, am I going to go 177 miles, about less than 200 miles to your house, or am I going to go about 300-400 miles to Dylan's house? I wonder.
To fight an Irishman? Yeah, it might be worth it.
I wonder, did he really just say the exact amount of miles between the distance of you and him? And why does he remember that off the top of his head?
Because he's
Also
crazy
remember-
and he needs to be in a psychiatric hospital, that's why.
I also remember the distance between me and my girlfriend. 267 miles.
Oh, so Kanan can. Never mind.
No.
Fucking hell. Back to it though. No, like the whole thing with Cicada is he's got the kind of storyline that would last for a season-long villain, and by every indication that's been said, he is. I've said to you before, Savitar, I do agree with them. Well, I don't mind the multiple arcs thing. I think they're going to just have him take a back seat for one of those, or for the majority of one of those, that he will not be appearing
it's not-
as Cicada himself.
As long as we get more than one big bad this season, like he's the last one, but as long as we get more than one, I'm happy.
So you wouldn't mind him being the season-long big bad, but he's got people who are working for him to keep the Flash on.
No. As in, think of the Agents of Shield. They have more than one big bad a season, that kind of thing. Except he starts the season off. He also ends the season off. We get more than one big bad.
The way you could do that, which
But
would probably be the easiest
they
way.
don't work for him. They've got their own agenda. They're not working. They're not affiliated with him at all.
See, I don't know what I think about that, because I feel the best way to do that is to have them be some smaller sub-villains, if you will, which should be working for him, but then they try and disobey his orders, and that's why they get put in prison or whatever happens to them.
Why killing all metahumans? You want metahumans to be working for him?
Just because he hates metahumans and wants them dead, it doesn't mean he won't use some to serve his own ends for a while. It's entirely possible. Dylan, do you agree that's entirely possible?
I don't know where I stand on that at the moment. So
It's possible, but it's very unlikely.
It would be very possible for you to shut up until you get a new mic. That would be very nice.
Oh, fuck off.
But okay, so Dylan, here's my question for you. Here's my question of the day for you for the podcast, and feel free to answer it now. If they have Cicada as the season-long villain, but they've got people who work for him as smaller sub-villains, would you want that to happen if it was done?
no.
Or would you want him as a season-long villain, but he takes a backseat for a while?
I
So-
just want another villain halfway through, and I think the Tornado
Yes.
Twins would be perfect.
See, I'd be
I'm
fine-
sticking with it.
So what about if they don't do that and he is the season-long villain, but they put him on a backseat, say after episode 10 until 15 or 16?
I'll still be happy, but not as happy.
So you'd be fine if they did that then?
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's probably what they're gonna do. We're gonna go to episode 7. There'll be a climactic fight between them. After the 100th episode, we'll have gone to the current time because, you know, as you pointed out last week, Savitar, that you
In
know.
the comics, they fight through time, literally. Yeah,
Not
Dylan.
that. I was
Yeah.
no. You were pointing out that, you know, this is
Oh.
taking place immediately after, so they need to do a time jump at some point. 100th
Yeah.
episode.
Oh, yeah,
100th
Dylan.
episode does seem like the logical point to do that.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, Dylan. The reason I reckon they're going to do a time jump in the 100th episode, apparently, like, they've said that people will come back for that episode. They didn't say who though, so it could be like more than one speedster villain. And if so, they could have battle royale through the times and end up in the present day. That's all I think of that. And I hope it comes through because I really want. One moment.
So what do you think to that?
I
One
don't
minute.
know.
Well, because my way of seeing it all happening would be there's a climactic duel between them in episode 7 because that's probably the technical mid-season finale for Flash, just because of the way they're doing the crossover and shit this year. That'll happen. He'll appear again briefly in episode 10. Then he'll be on a backseat until episodes 15 or 16. Only as Cicada, but his alter ego is going to be around and interacting. But they don't know that it's the villain. So he's doing nothing villainous, he's just around.
I
reckon they'll bump into
guess,
him.
but again, I'd much rather have Tornado Twins as the main.
They can come in. They can come in. What? Okay, let me put it this way. What Kanan is saying is he'll be around normally, as instead of like Prometheus. They then meet him like as Adrian Chase. But in this case, we get more mere villains in the middle season, in the middle part of the season, including the fucking Tornado Twins. If they fucking want.
No,
That's
I
what's
know,
getting at.
but like, okay, if they were to use him for another season, but set him up this season, I'd be fine with that.
Okay, so because I don't really see the point of the Tornado Twins. Dylan has sent me like images and stuff of them. He sent me small extracts and stuff. I'm just like, yeah, but I don't really seem to care. They don't really seem like villains. They just seem like spoiled bratty kids. That's about it.
No. From that image I sent you, it's the one where Barry's old, yeah?
Because in that case, they were not
Bratty, they were neglected, I think. Can't remember.
I don't really think they'd be done that well. They're not the kinds of villains I want to see.
They're personal, and that needs a lot longer than half a season.
The only way I would allow that to be done personally is if they did it in one of the alternate Earths in the multiverse. That would probably be the only way I would want it to be done. Because I
Yeah,
don't really
cool.
think they'd be able to be suited as like villains for Earth 1. But back to Nora
Yeah.
though. What
By
did
the way, is this Battle? This is Battle. There was a supposed leak. Obviously, it might not be true. It might just be made up. But apparently, we're gonna get at some point in the season that like
a couple episodes here and there to do with Eobard and do Barry's kids.
And of course, Barry's still yet to say the line, "We're going to need more diapers."
Nappies. So
Nora could reveal to them that she's got a twin, and he'll say to Iris, "We're going to need more diapers." Because he's still yet to say that.
I don't really know what to think of that. What do you think, Dylan, to that?
I would love to see that happen in that way because I think that's what I was setting up for last season.
Oh yeah. Of course, we got the whole Nora should be here. So
Can you get a better fucking microphone? I can barely fucking...
I told you in about 3-4 weeks. You fucking cunt. It's only a couple more podcasts. It'll be sorted. You fucking spoilt brat. Just because you can afford a fucking PC and microphone, does not mean everyone can.
Do you know how long I saved up and how much it cost me?
Yes, but I've not had the chance to save up, has I? I'm barely fucking living week to week at the moment.
I'm removing you from the podcast after this episode until you've got a better fucking mic.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
Because Dylan's not going to be able to do it every week. He's still in school. He's still got to
He has
study and
half
stuff.
days on Wednesdays.
Yeah, but he's still got to study, you idiot. I don't have to study. Besides,
It's only because you're the one that's... Hell, how about you fucking boost me on your end? On PC, you can boost people's volumes and stuff.
I had
How
you
about you fucking
boosted
do
last
that?
week and it made zero difference.
Then that's your fault, not mine, because it works for everyone else. So that's a problem on your end, not mine. Idiot.
Anyway.
Fucking hell.
No, I don't really want to see the Tornado Twins. I don't mind them bringing reverse flashback, but don't have it be to do with Barry in the future and his kids. I just feel that'll be a bit forced.
not really, because Eobard is always to do with Barry.
I know it's
his
always to
crime.
do with Barry. You've made that point about a million times. It gets annoying. My point is...
And you're making a point, and you always keep constantly saying it'll be forced, it'll be forced, it'll be forced. No, it's a point. It won't feel forced.
No, it'll feel
Well, look-
forced in the way that, you know, they're then just trying to validate having Jessica Kennedy Parker in every episode if they do that. Whereas if they have her in there naturally and they make it seem like a natural reason she's there. Forward time travel to when she's a younger kid just doesn't really do that for me. I don't really want to see that happen. I don't mind Eobard coming
I
back.
don't mean when she's young. I mean she'd be grown up. And Eobard would like, cause remember he time travels. He's got time remnants throughout time.
I know he's got time remnants throughout time, but it's still not
Pops
really
up
something
in
I personally want to see. It just doesn't really... It doesn't do it for me, because I arguably
Kanan, that's
want...
a shame. That is actually a shame because pretty much most other fans want Eobard to come back.
I want Eobard
So
to
you're
come
putting-
back, don't get me wrong. I just don't want it done in the future. I want it sort of done in the present, because I think what they need to do with
That's
this
what people.
season-
That's what I'm saying. It's to do with Eobard. And yeah, we might have a couple flashbacks, but most of it will be about Eobard in the present day. I'm saying. If I
You were confusing me with the whole time travel thing of when
if I-
you
if
read
I-
out
if
the
I was gonna
leak
say-
about how there were going to be episodes to do with Eobard and Barry's kids.
yeah, grown up. Okay, we know Nora's travelled back in time, yeah,
Yeah.
and she's an adult. She's an adult, yes.
Yep.
She's still Barry's kid, yes.
Yep.
Exactly. If I meant when they was
Right,
young,
because
and specified-
I thought you meant when they were younger and when they were like.
yeah,
really
but
young.
either said when they were young, Barry's kids when they're young, because Nora's his kid and she's an adult. She's in her 20s, for fuck's sake. So
Yeah,
Definitely.
going on to that though, would you want to see an episode where Barry's kids are younger in the future? Would you want to see that personally?
I guess maybe Barry and Nora go forward in the future and have a look, but that's about it.
I
because
wouldn't
then-
really want to see that, because I personally think what this season is doing is trying to get it back to basics, which after season 4 and the very convoluted, confusing and fucking atrocious storyline and season that was.
What? Oh, what the switcher?
Yeah, him. That's actually a pretty decent name. They should have called him that.
Yep. Yeah. Imagine that right at the end of the season. Oh, we called you Thinker, but you're more like the switcher.
But-
That'd been cool.
But,
That would be cool, but
No, I think because they need to go back to basics, I wouldn't want to see them go forward in time or do too much with time travel. With Nora, it's fine because that's a major part of the season and her storyline, but that's about it.
I'm gonna go grab a drink.
I brought a drink with me. A 2-litre bottle of cream soda.
So, that's just my take because, like, no, Tornado Twins, I don't really want to see them. I don't care for them, really. From what little I've seen, they don't really interest me as characters. They just seem like bland 1 to 3 issue characters just to make it, just so they can carry on a comic storyline or something. And that's about it.
Yeah. What go?
Well, that's what they are. That's what they seem like to me. So they would just be villains of the week, if anything. So, shall we move on? Because we've discussed Iris, we've discussed Nora, so it's time to discuss her dad. What did you think of Barry this episode?
Yeah, you can see he's he was getting a little bit frustrated where she's still waiting this quite a bit. He's having he's telling, like, literally when he said it's like, oh, when she wanted to basically break something, like she wanted to kidnap someone from police custody, it was like, and if you believe
He's
she's
just
doing that,
like, are
you should
you
sit this one
fucking
out.
serious?
He was like, then you should, like, or if you're thinking that way, then maybe you should sit this one out. And so literally scolding her. It's like,
Well, there's something new for you. No,
boy.
yeah, the writing for her was a bit off in that regard, but I understood why they did that, because it makes sense for...
Pardon?
It makes sense for her to be that way, though, really. Like, the writing was off for it, but I understood why. So I'm not going to complain about that, because... For one, it's still early days for the character. 2...
And she was frantic as well.
So that, like, she seems
There's-
a little bit back.
Yeah, 2, she was frantic, and 3, she is basically still learning, but I feel like if they haven't gotten past that by next episode and she's still like that in episode 5, I'm gonna really need to reconsider my stance on the character.
That's not early enough. I say if it ain't fixed by, like, well, I don't know, episode 7.
Episode 7 or episode 7 or episode 10. One of those two, because it's over.
Well, I'm saying if she just sort of keeps acting a bit too much like a child, because that's kind of what she's doing around Barry. Like, you know, it's fine at the moment because she's wanting to spend time with him, but there's a time jump roughly between each episode, apart from premieres normally, of about a week. So she's come back and she's spent time with him. She's gotten over how giddy she is. Now she needs to start behaving a bit more seriously. And I think they've written Barry to be like that in this episode. They're just like, are you fucking serious? Start taking shit seriously or piss off.
There's not always a time skip between. There's not always a 1 week time skip between.
I said usually.
Episodes.
Usually.
Yeah, I think there's been a couple of days at most in between each episode, because episode 1 we saw Cicada kill or Cicada kill Gridlock, yeah.
Yep.
And then obviously that had been found after a day or two, yeah. Well, a day because it was a police transport, yeah. It had been discovered that day, yeah.
Yep.
And of course, Singh only really found out about it that next day, the next episode. So there was like a day or two different between those two. So that's a couple of days, and then we've got this one. So maybe that's basically she's been there for about a week, maybe at most.
I think
a
that was
week and a half at most.
I don't know, because I think in episode 2, like, they had the opening bit with Cicada, then they time jumped by about a week.
I don't think they did.
I might
it
be
was still
wrong,
fair.
but I swear I heard them say, oh, she's been here for a week now or something in the second episode. I could be wrong.
Maybe
I do think I heard that, but I could be wrong. But,
I'll rewatch it later just to say.
yeah, please, because I'm not losing any brain cells on Cisco again.
Yeah.
Um,
And we'll address it next week if it is. I'll make a reminder.
yeah,
And we do it in a 5-minute rambly.
it came closer to 20 minutes today.
Yeah. That's only because you fuckers decided to start before I was even back. Without checking if I was back or anything, or how long I'd be or anything. So, your fault.
Dylan, have you returned? It'd be nice if you could unmute and give us your opinions on the Barry and Nora thing at the moment. Nope, nothing.
While we wait for him,
Obviously, I got cut out by you two earlier, fucking talking over me. So, just rewind back to Sherlock when we discussed him out of order. Yeah, that was weird. Like, obviously, the accent thing. I think they should stick with British really because it's meant to be Sherlock. And Sherlock Holmes is British, so they should
I
just
don't
stick with
get a
British
lot of
accent
that.
for him. No, and then Sherlock Holmes has always been British.
Yeah, he's always been
Why
British.
why the fuck are they making him French now? Like a different version of Wells French when he's meant to be like Sherlock.
I have
bit
no
weird.
fucking clue, but it's not done very well. I think that's mutually agreed on by everyone.
Yep. Unless maybe with all the different ones he goes to, he cycles through it naturally without even thinking now. And oh,
you're back.
so we've been discussing Barry and then Sherlock when we was waiting for you. So your thoughts on Barry
Okay.
this episode?
And everyone goes silent.
I know. I was thinking, well, is he going to talk?
Who,
Yeah,
me? What? I'm confused.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on Barry this episode?
Again, his costume, I'm hating it.
You're hating it.
I'm sorry, but the bulge. Did that catch anybody else's eye?
I thought you said you're straight. Why are you looking down there for?
I didn't. I said it was bisexual.
You said earlier. You said that you're straight. What?
I've
Okay,
not
never mind,
seen
moving on.
it, but then again, they've not really shown it off as much, have they, so far yet? Like,
By the way, obviously, Kanan, me and you have to do a separate podcast with Elseworlds now. A lot more come out. However, it looks Barry's Grant's back in the Flash costume in the crossover when they're filming now, and it looks like the cow's different. It looks like they changed up the helmet a bit. So
I think that's good because I think they'll have heard the fan reaction to it by then and everything, and
yeah.
I think that's good because it is not great. That is probably one of the weakest parts for it, particularly because they're not able to keep the color consistent.
That is a big problem. Yeah, materials and that. It could be the exact same shade, but different materials would show it differently. Bit of a shame.
It shows so obviously, which is probably one of
It's
the
like
worst
in
parts.
season 4. It's like in season 4 when they start making it a lot more brighter, and then they're there to make his because of the different materials and that, they actually had to make the actual helmet darker than the costume, just so the color would actually match.
But here,
It's too bright. I've said that before.
Yeah, I still get that though. I still get, but what I don't get now is now it's obviously it's not got the chin guard, yeah.
Hmm.
Like there's no chin guard. So what stops them from making the mask into like the same materials the rest of the costume? Because then they don't have to make the mask and then make a hood. It can just be one. Because if it's made out of the same materials, the rest of the costume, then it will naturally just go to the hood.
I don't know.
shape and pulls it back.
I think that might be to do with technical or budgetary reasons. So
actually, they've had to spend more money making it out of latex or whatever they made it out of, stuff like that. Whereas if they use leftover material, because of course there's gaps on the helmet anyway, naturally, then they can just do it that way, and then
I
when he
wouldn't
pulls it
know.
back,
I truthfully wouldn't know. But
Yeah.
yeah, Dylan. Barry as a character this episode, love him or hate him.
I'm in between.
I'd love to hear the explanation for this.
Yeah.
I like his character, obviously, but I think they're going the wrong way about him.
In what way though? Because he's obviously got the father figure, which he needs to be now.
Exactly, that's what I'm not liking. They're kind of forcing him into this role. they're not allowing him to develop into that role. It's like, okay, you're a father now, act like it.
Okay, Dylan, think of it this way. Say you had a daughter that came back from the future, 12 years old. Yeah, you don't be
Can you hear a word?
Okay, no, I can't hear a word of what I'm saying.
Okay, just speak a bit louder, even though it's really risky.
That's all I can
Oh,
hear.
fuck off. Oh, fuck off. So, say you're an adult, yeah, Dylan? Say you're an adult, like 20 or something, yeah?
Yeah?
Okay. You just didn't speak. Okay. So, yeah, if your daughter came back and was a little bit younger than you, you'd still want to act like a father to her, yeah?
No.
Wait, what? Say it again?
No.
What the fuck? What the fuck would you do? You're messed up. Would you try and hook up with her?
I'd shoot myself in the head because I'm like, fuck this shit, I'm out.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just pack my stuff and leave. Fuck this shit, I'm
Yeah, Dylan.
No, but realistically though.
Yeah, wait, one sec. Wait,
Savitar-
Kanan, one sec. Dylan, thank you. Me and Kanan did that last week as well. Well, last podcast as well.
No,
The exact same
Just
thing.
get my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please.
no, but Savitar, I kind of see where he's coming from though, because you
Yeah,
can't
so do I,
expect
except-
you can't expect someone to immediately know how to be a father. It does take time. It does take practice.
No, but they seem like it's just like, okay, daughter's back. He's a father now.
They've not really
Done.
given him time to develop it. I can agree some of what he's saying.
However,
He
they're showing you.
Dylan, shut the fuck up. He does act it well enough, but he also, I feel like, whether that's because he and Jessica Kennedy Parker spent a lot of time together on and off set, who knows? But they haven't given him time to think about what Barry would be like in that particular role. So I can agree with
Holy shit, Kanan makes more sense than you, Dylan. Are you feeling okay?
Oh, fuck off.
It's not particularly hard.
Yeah, it's true. Anyway, my thoughts on it is, you're saying they're trying to force him into it, but I see it as a natural forcing because you're saying, it'll act like it.
There's only a certain degree as to where you can force this to go naturally,
yeah.
because it's the
Yeah,
biggest
no, I know.
disadvantage Grant Gustin is facing this season, because he has
I'm
got to
not saying-
suddenly get into something new for this role, which he's been playing, where he has not had to be like that before. He's had to be a mentor figure, but he's not had to be a father figure before, and that is probably the biggest difficulty he will face, because they've not given him time to develop that naturally into the show, and it's not as noticeable as you would think if you think.
Actually,
But
that's
if
the
you're
point.
looking for it, you
Last
can see it.
Wally West.
Yeah, because
Okay.
like he had to act as
Kanan. Like I said, that's the point because last episode we saw he was like to Joe, she ain't listening. Stuff like that. It's like he's realised that that's what we're like.
That's still
He's
not
learning
enough development, though.
father.
That's not enough development.
Look how early.
I can't hear a fucking word he's saying, but yeah, back to you, Dylan.
Wait, can you hear me better now?
No, you switch to the other fucking
Do you want me
mic.
to- do you want me to crash and just fucking be keeping annoying you by fucking popping in and out, in and out, in and out? In and
Yes.
out? No.
It'd be a lot better because we could actually hear you.
Okay.
Thank fuck for that. Jesus Christ. Yeah, Dylan, back to you, because I've helped you actually slay the beast, this Savitar.
I think like they're forcing it on him to the point of there's no development of it. It's
hard
just
to
like,
develop that
okay,
as well,
it's
though.
this.
It's hard to develop that as well if you've
Better.
not really had
See,
as much time
you
or
say that,
experience.
but they've already done that. Like with Wally.
That's more of a mental figure though. And does this sound better?
No,
Yes.
that was more of a father figure.
It was a,
No,
it was
he
a big
wasn't.
brother-like figure, really, if anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, he was actually
Because
like
they're
a big
the-
brother, but he was also the one who sort of set Wally straight. So I can see where both of you are coming from, that yes, he's a big brother and a mentor, but he has given him and Wally hell before, and he, particularly when he chooses to nearly get hit by a fucking car to see if he has powers.
Nah, that's what Savitar would do.
I've been
struck by lightning! Car!
That actually makes a lot of sense when you think about it.
Oh my
Question though,
lord.
Dylan, out of you and me, who's the one who's bollocking for it?
Say that again?
Out of you and me, if Savitar did that, IRL, who's the one who gives him the bollocking for it? You or me?
Wait, if I do what?
If you're
If I do-
get struck by lightning, first of all, and then run out in front of a car.
Yeah, who's the one who gives him the bollocking for it? Me or you?
Oh.
Well, no, you wouldn't. You'd be like, fuck's sake, why couldn't you have died?
We both would have been
Okay.
like that, but after that, who's the one who gives him the bollocking?
Pardon?
After that, after we've been like that, who's the one who gives him the bollocking?
Dylan, probably.
No,
Because I
shared
shared-
Kanan.
No, I reckon it'd be you. Do you know why? Same
you're a
name.
cunt?
Like, you're giving it. You give. No. I reckon it'd be you because we share the same name, and you're like, why are you giving us Dylan's a bad name? Make us look like thick idiots.
Oh, I thought it was just because you're a cunt, but anyway.
Okay.
No, Savitar, you're just a special case. The rest of the Dylans seem fairly intelligent from what I can tell.
Actually, every Dylan I've ever known are dickheads, in a good way.
Love you too, you fucking cunt.
You're welcome.
Anyway, so if you're going on about Barry as a father, then what's your opinions on Iris sort of trying to be the mother? Then
I appreciate it. It shows that she gives a fuck.
the question is though, is she acting it well? Because your problem with Grant is he hasn't been given time to
Yes.
develop that.
Yeah, but the difference is Grant is the main character. That's stuff we should see on screen. Whereas with Iris, if that was off screen, not many people would be annoyed.
Also, maternal instincts.
There's paternal instincts as well, depending on.
Yeah, but clearly you two don't care about that. So I'm just deciding to ignore.
I've said it's not as noticeable as it normally would be in anything else, but it is noticeable in some scenes more than others. Because they didn't give Grant time to develop that properly.
It's because he's still learning. The character is still learning itself.
Really?
You act like he's got. You act like they're trying to make him know, like he knows it already, but he doesn't.
No one knows.
That's what I'm
it.
getting at.
No one knows it all. That's not what I'm trying to say.
Especially not you.
Yeah, I vote to just kick him already.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
He's gone.
Ready? Wait for the message. Wait
Yeah,
for it.
waiting for the message. Yeah, but carry on because now you can actually speak.
I don't really know where I was going with that now. I lost where I was.
I'm not surprised. Yep, he's typing a message to me.
I already
He's
got
just,
one.
like,
Shake
shaking
my
my
head.
Shaking my head. Eh, fuck him. We leave him out of the podcast for the rest of the episode.
He's gonna join in the stream next.
It's not streaming, it's a recording.
Oh, I thought you streamed this.
No, we don't.
Oh, hello world. In the future. How are yous?
No, but the whole thing with him, with Grant...
Excuse you, I'm talking to future people here.
Yeah. Back to the podcast, though. Another character I think we should discuss. What about Joe?
I really like Joe. He's my favorite.
He doesn't get enough to do, the poor guy.
No, he really doesn't. He's put off to the side too often.
Like, he had a fair bit to do in, like, seasons 1 to 3, but now they've just tossed him away.
Yeah, and I think he's a real, like, not lost potential, because that's not the right word, but there's a lot more potential there that they're not utilizing.
The character has more potential, particularly this season as well, because he can take on that sort of...
He can be a
person to help
guider
Barry get used to
for...
being a parent more.
Yeah.
Which we'll probably see, but it's only going to be in small minor scenes. Okay, you did him that favour, did you?
Yeah, I don't want to be a cunt.
Was he spamming
I mean,
you
it's
or
fun
something
and
then?
all to be a cunt, but...
Was he spamming you then?
Oh, no.
You're just like, I can't be asked.
Yeah.
Fair enough. He's gone offline for fuck's sakes.
No complaints.
No complaints here either. Yeah, no, Joe just doesn't get enough to do because, like,
He really doesn't.
he's shoved off to the side. Here's a character I will ask you about. Fucking Cecile Horton. What the fuck is she here for?
I think there's something coming up with her. Because she lost her powers, and then all of a sudden, what did she get? Fuck off, you cunt.
Thank you.
And all of a sudden,
wow.
what did she get back? As
Wait,
soon
what?
as Joe was in danger.
What the fuck are you talking about now, you idiots? This way
None of
you
your
just.
business.
This way you shouldn't fucking willy-nilly kick, you idiots. Now, so
Well, then
just
you should let
repeat.
people
Do it
finish
again.
what
Bye,
they're
bye,
talking
fuck off.
about, you fucking cunt.
I've just kicked him again. I'm having too much fun with this.
Stop kicking him.
I'm having too much fun with this.
You do realise
Now-
this will probably end up pissing off fans because then you got to repeat information just so someone else is up to date.
Well, no,
So while
because
it's
I'm
funny- while it's-
repeating Jack.
While it's funny in the short run, for us it's funny, but for
Hey.
viewers that can end up
Hey.
pissing them off. So
Hey, we don't give a fuck. We're not telling you what we were talking about.
there you go, people. They don't care about you. If you get pissed off, they don't care.
I was talking
don't
to you,
care about you,
dumbass.
Yeah, but I'm talking about as a fans though. You said you don't care, so pay attention
No,
to what I'm actually
exactly,
fucking
he
saying.
No, you said the fans will get annoyed if we repeat ourselves, and I said, well, it doesn't
No,
fucking matter.
I
'cause
said if you keep on kicking like something out of call, you'd have to end over time. You'd have to end up repeating the information. If it's just once, you don't really have to. But more than once, and it ends up having to repeat it, that'll piss them off.
Hey,
Or the fact that they constantly hear kick, rejoin, it piss them off over time.
okay,
I should know because people used to say it to me.
Should we just
I
mute
don't
him?
care.
No,
Yep, I'm muting.
Yeah,
Dylan,
no, I'm
are you
actually
muting
gonna
him?
mute him.
Are you muting him?
No.
I've muted him.
Did you just get a message being called a cunt by any chance?
He's typing to me right now.
Oh, he's typing.
I will let you know what it says. Yeah, I'll let you carry on though.
I lost my fucking place. What are we talking about?
Something-
Right, okay. I think I fucking added you twice, so shut your mouth. Okay, so...
What did he say to you?
Okay, as I was saying, what I think is going to happen is I think she has a lot more potential because, as we've seen, her powers no longer work. But as soon as Joe was in danger, they started working again, and she woke up in a sense. So I think the powers are definitely going to go somewhere, but I think they're going the wrong way about them at this moment in time.
They got the wrong way with a lot of stuff in this show because arguably she's not really there apart from to validate the Jazz family. Okay, I've just had a message. He's just said, just act normal, straight face. He's one to talk. He's the crazy one on these podcasts.
Yeah, he's
sometimes.
definitely not fucking normal.
I've still got him muted as well.
So how does he hear you?
He's muted on my end, like I've muted him so I can't hear him. Surprisingly, it's very therapeutic.
Yes.
It's very therapeutic to not have to hear him. I should just decline his phone calls more often.
Kanan, can you hear? Are you echoing yourself? Like, can you hear an echo of yourself?
No, I can't.
Okay, so it's just you, Savitar. You're on drugs.
Okay, so here's the character who will bring up a lot more contention.
I expect Kanan's being an idiot. When I talked, I could hear myself on his end, so I don't think he has got me muted.
I did.
He's just
I've
acting.
just unmuted.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, well,
thank you.
I should
Carry on.
just mute you because you're getting annoying. Okay, where
Or
were
just carry
we?
on. Carry on.
That's something that's called luggage.
Fuck's
Carry
sake.
on, it's
What
fine.
now?
The character I was going to say we should go to next, if you want.
I'm gonna ask you some questions. Used to be my room.
Yeah, so the character I was going to say we should go to next,
Yeah.
Ralph Dibny.
Love him.
They
A
finally
lot.
have the comic
Yeah,
relief.
that guy called
fights,
Ricky,
the
and
amount
that was
of comic
funny
relief
for that.
fights in this episode.
This is the last person. What about Myra? Because I have one double bed.
Okay, I'll just mute him while he sorts himself out because yeah, no, that was confusing. Yeah, carry on. You love him.
I love him. That's really it. I love his character. He's an amazing character.
He's an amazing character. Did you not think that the comic relief finally seems less forced and into the scripts now that he's had to work with?
No?
Because my biggest complaint for him in the first 2 episodes was there was too much comic relief, and he was a big contributor to that. So I'm glad that they finally sort of evened that out.
It was.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they sorted that, and it certainly looks like.
Yes.
Well, they finally sort of seem to have the characters back to where they should be.
Yeah.
At least someone knows what podcast is. Because it's voice.
Can they hear us though?
No.
Oh.
We can hear them.
They sounded so depressed.
You can talk like this all now, they're still going to hear you. That's fine.
We can fucking hear them.
Dylan, you spaz, you left your mic on
What's
you.
that?
You left your mic on, you cunt. You left your fucking microphone on.
Alright, Felicia.
You left your fucking microphone on, you idiot.
Hey, you fucking dumbass, you left your mic on. So we could hear them.
Oh my
You
lord.
sounded so disappointed when you told her no.
It sounded so depressed. Now he's fucking muted. Do you see why I need to do podcasts with someone other than him now? Why I need a new co-host? But yeah, no, Ralph Dibny was great in this. We'll run through the rest of them. And before we get
Joys are living the fucking temporary accommodation that's shared.
Okay, I'm gonna go for a piss again because I love to go to.
What the fuck? How much water you drank? Are you thinking you're going off to like have, I don't know, just eat or just fucking I don't know.
I've got
What?
this, so. No, character we're on is the character we're on is discussing is Ralph.
I'm so sorry about that.
The character
Gonna
we're
fucking jump
discussing is Ralph.
Fucking hell. You're on the characters. Like fucking hell. We got about halfway through the episode, started discovering the characters, and you still ain't back on the episode yet. Fucking hell.
No, there have been a lot of distractions between kicking you, him having to go AFK briefly.
Exactly. By the way, next time I'm making the podcast group.
Yeah.
Then there'll be no.
No,
then there'll be no.
doing with him instead after this week until you've got an actual better mic and you're less.
No, you won't. You'll be desperate. You'll be desperate.
I thought be.
But yeah, I'll just make the podcast group. Then there'll be no fucking. Then there'll be no distractions.
Untrue. We'd still hear you talking.
That's what I've got.
What?
That's what I've got. That's what
Yeah, so Savitar, if you fucking get on with it.
Hi.
Hello.
Ow! Fuck! I just stabbed my finger. Ah! Shit.
Jack, it's me from yesterday.
Hello.
I'm so sorry.
I do not remember his name.
He said go away. She said go away.
Hey.
She said okay.
Savitar and Kanan, I just stabbed my finger and it's bleeding.
What did you stab it on?
Okay, so do you know how you get... Ah, cunt. Do you know how you get the sticks off a lollipop to
I'm gonna
snap
kill
in
myself
half?
this way. I'm gonna fucking
And
kill
I was
myself.
trying to... So I pried it open, yeah? I pried it open, like so it was split in half. And then stuck the top bit back in. And it pushed too far and my finger went all the way in it. And now my finger is gushing blood.
Ouch.
What the fuck happened? What the fuck?
He stabbed himself with a lollipop stick.
Dylan's laughing, but he's the kind of person to make himself go blind by poking himself in the eye with a dick.
That makes more sense for him,
This will be Dylan. This will be Dylan. Stupid deaths. Stupid deaths.
Ralph Dibny, what did you think?
the both of us. It's a Dylan trait.
Get on with the fucking podcast.
Well, you're the one that's wanting to discuss a fucking character. Hurry up.
Yeah, I'm asking you,
Waiting
Ralph
on your-
Dibney. What did you think of him in this episode?
I already told you!
I was asking Savitar.
Oh.
Savitar, call him Dylan. But he keeps swapping between call me Savitar and Dylan. Anyway, yeah, I thought Ralph was good in this episode. While they're toning down his comedic bit quite a bit, there's not as much comedic part. He's being a little bit more serious now.
I like that though. I think they're starting to get the
Kanan doesn't. Kanan doesn't.
I don't know.
Kanan!
He was one of the good comic relief bits in season 4, but it got repetitive. If in the end that it just.
Can we just
got
ban
to the point where it was
Kanan?
going on too
Is
much.
that possible? Can we
Yeah. Dylan, new plan.
Kanan from the podcast?
Dylan. New plan. Me and you record the podcast and Kanan uploads them. The Dylan and Dylan podcast.
I mean, I think that'd get more views.
Yeah, it would actually. Because we'd be able to put it on
Okay,
free channel.
Kanan, we'll see you later, yeah? We'll send you the clip.
Yeah, I'm the one. Well, firstly, I'm the one recording. Second, I'm the host of the podcast group.
Not anymore.
Well, I'm also the co-host, so we can get rid of you and it'll still work. Just like if you get rid of me, it can still work, but not as much.
Okay, so
Yeah, Dylan.
next character.
Dylan, we need to do our own separate podcast for fun, including one where I read Kanan's fanfiction.
Kanan has fanfiction.
Yes, he made fanfiction. I'll send you pictures later.
Wait, he makes fanfic? Fucking
Yes,
hell!
he wrote
No,
fanfiction
here's
once.
something that I.
Send it, I'm reading it, send it. Send it now, I'm
No,
reading
I've
it.
had people write fanfiction on me before.
I don't give a fuck, I'm reading your fanfiction that you made, Kanan. Send it, Dylan.
Yeah, I will have to get a link up after, otherwise my phone will crash again. But look at this. Look at this.
Wait, what is that? That's Wattpad. Okay, I'm gonna open up Wattpad. What's his name?
Kanan's July Temple. But Dylan, we don't read it yet. We'll read it in our own podcast.
Oh no, I'm reading this now.
Okay, then we'll do a reading on the podcast.
Shit! I just knocked off.
He just knocked over his Pringles can!
No!
I knocked over the microphone.
Oh well.
Anyway, next character.
The Flash versus. No.
Savitar.
Can you
the
please
gods.
actually read this another time? And because I want to get on with this and have my dinner.
I agree with Kanan for once.
I want to get on with this and have my dinner.
Yeah, Dylan. I'll ring you after we finish this podcast and we can read it then.
Oh no, I'm reading it before the podcast ends.
You're really not.
No,
Okay, then I'll do it now.
No. If you stop reading it, he will just end the podcast and then.
Then I'm definitely
Yeah.
reading it now.
No, please don't. I want to do it for our own podcast. Imagine that, the Dylan and Dylan podcast, first episode, reading Kanan's Geo Temple's fanfiction.
I've actually had people write fanfiction about me.
Is it about them killing
AKA
you?
Matrix does not count.
Yeah, I agree.
It actually wasn't Akka who wrote it.
Yeah, sounds very accurate.
Die. That warranted a removal from the DM group.
I'm still standing strong.
Yeah, because you're worthy of actually keeping it. He isn't. No, it was actually about me and Chris, if you would believe that.
Oh my lord, I want to guess it was Chrome Dong.
It wasn't.
Oh, what? Oh god, I don't want to know.
I don't even fucking remember who it was. Who wrote it?
That's great, you don't remember who wrote your fanfiction.
It was bad. It was very bad. Anyway. Anyway, final character we're going to
This
move on
just
to.
in, Kanan's Geo Temple is a pussy.
This just in, Star Wars, Ahsoka Jedi Hunter.
Oh my lord! Wait, Kanan, have you written more than Have you wrote fanfiction for Star Wars as well?
Can we get on with this fucking thing?
That's a yes.
Fine.
That's a
Yeah,
yes.
I'm taking that as a yes as well.
Anyway, final character we'll move on to and discuss before we get on to like theories and stuff.
Dildo Baggins!
Oh, shush, Dylan.
No, we'll be discussing Caitlin.
Caitlin Snow.
Because you really like her story arc, so I'll let you start it off.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The reason why I like Caitlin's story arc is because I think she's a character own show. Purely because her character has so much backstory and just so much story in general. Whereas if you were to do a whole story on Vibe, it's like, oh, he got his powers
He doesn't like his brother.
at the same time as everybody else. Wow.
I think Fake Wells gave. I think like Wellsabod gave her half the city powers, didn't he? Really? So.
Plus more,
Wait,
because
what?
it was revealed in season 2 that Harry Wells kept his particle accelerator. He had ways to moderate that if it went wrong. And we saw how bad that was. Imagine how bad it was on Earth 1.
Oh yeah, yeah. Of course, on Earth 2, there's that much more advanced.
Anyway, yeah, back to what you were saying, Dylan.
Forgot what I was saying again.
About her being the best character in backstory.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay, let's do this.
I like your enthusiasm.
Uh,
Oh wow, let's do this.
Will you shut up?
Dick!
No, Kanan.
He's trying to speak.
Let him then instead of telling me to shut the fuck up.
Dylan, shut the fuck up. Okay, Huh. You know what? I don't know.
Actually, talk
Somebody
about
else start. Somebody else start.
Well, obviously, Caitlin's best on for it because she's needed her own story since she started getting her powers in season 3. And then in season 4, they started hitting at her father, Thomas. And apparently he's been that way all the time. He's been that way all the time, or something like that. So they've been leading up for a long while. So she's the best character to actually have it come to light. All this come to light with.
Oh, yeah?
Also, childhood trauma is always the best, isn't it? So there's that as well.
Barry are arguably the best characters of the show because they do both have.
There is no arguing.
Snow Barry. What?
They definitely would have made a good couple to do on the show before Barry and Iris got married. I think personally, they should have.
Yeah.
100%.
I think they're going to do something similar to Class and FX, where Oliver and Cara were together on there. I think there should be an Earth where Barry and Caitlin are together.
There probably is.
Aren't just
somewhere.
together, you know, they have a kid and they've done it. More than
They
once.
seem like the ones though out of the whole bunch who would want to go off and have a life away from it. Which they would deserve. Because I think Iris sort of guilt trips Barry into, and you know, and this isn't anything against Candace or the writing or anything. It's just to do with this is what the character is kind of like. Certainly in the Arrowverse, she probably guilt trips him into staying and being the Flash when he has wanted to retire from that. So.
He hasn't really retired at any point. Wanted to retire at any point, is he? Really?
Well, yeah, but like. It seems
in the
like
future,
something
yeah?
she'd do. Like in the future, she would
Oh.
guilt trip him into carrying on being the Flash and everything.
Except that's not Barry's character. Like she said to Nora. Well, you know your dad. Whenever there's trouble, he runs off and fixes it. So it's like she's a little bit annoyed that he always has to go help in that.
Well, that's at the moment.
But she understands. She understands that.
That's at the
Yeah, she
moment. We
understands.
don't know if there's going to be a change on that front at all.
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
So there's definitely the potential that could change and everything will be
Oh, yeah.
very different.
Definitely.
Which would be very interesting to see.
Oh yeah.
But what did you think of that huge bombshell? Like where she's finished doing the nose and then it cuts out, there's a camera and someone's watching.
Oh, that's your father.
Yeah, I reckon that's her dad.
How the fuck has he got
there's
cameras in Star Labs if it is him? Because I can see where you're coming from.
The Thinker had cameras in Star Labs as well. Well, no, that's actually just a Samoid. Well, that's it. Wellspard. He had cameras in like all different people's apartments.
Yeah.
You could argue. You
There's
could
still
argue
no
his speed,
explanation
but
as to how they
it's
get
cutting in and out.
Still no
Pardon?
explanation on how they get there. So no, but that was
Yeah.
very interesting in the way that they did
Think
everything.
about it. Caitlin is smart. Her dad is smart.
Exactly,
Caitlin
he
can
hacked
hack.
into it.
Her dad can hack. I win.
Well, Caitlin's not really a hacker. That's more Cisco, but I'll give you a pass on it because it makes sense.
Because like,
Oh.
I'm looking forward to whatever they do on that front. It's going to be great.
Oh yeah, it definitely will be.
But whew. Shall we move on to theories and everything then?
Yep.
Okay, we'll start with our guest. Dylan, you got any theories for us?
Theories. Now you're gonna have to be very, very specific with theories because I go.
Character theories, story theories, things like that.
Basically any type of theories. So we're not anything specific really.
No.
Really? You don't have any theories?
Not at this moment of time. It's way too early.
Really? I had theories in the first fucking episode.
Okay, I've got a theory for you.
I mean, listen. If I was to properly go in depth with a theory, we'd be here all night.
Okay, well here's a theory which I want to do a little bit of in-depth discussion about. It's not the biggest one, but and it sounds quite ludicrous, but I think that the family of Cicada that we see in the hospital is fake. At least it's not his immediate family.
I'd have to agree with you on that one.
Yeah, it was never explicitly stated that his daughter. It's like, how is she?
Yeah, like I think they're
but-
either distant relatives, like it's uncle and
Oh,
that kind of situation,
niece. Yeah.
or
Maybe.
or it's a family friend who he's the grandfather.
However, Nora shouted "Dad" and he froze. And then the same with the baby. It's like, well, the baby one, you could say like a young other family member. It was the same thing with the dad though. So that's what kind of nudged it towards that's his daughter.
There's nothing stating that his real family might not be dead, and so he's trying to be this uncle who is arguably a father figure to his niece.
Oh yeah. I agree with that. Yeah, that
So
could happen.
My theory is he's adopted the fake name of Orlin because maybe the mother didn't know who he was, and he just showed some identification that showed that, you know, he looked like her husband or whatever, husband, boyfriend, whatever happened. And Orlin is a fake name. I still think there's the possibility that he's Caitlin's father. It's not likely, let's be honest, but I still think that theory has plenty of credibility to it.
Yeah. What we really need is the next 2 episodes or something. We need something to either show more hints or literally debunk it.
Something happened. Something tells me we won't get that in episode 4. Very
Nah.
much. Unless he's going around in his civilian attire, because I don't think he's going to appear as Cicada in that episode.
Yeah.
What do you think, Dylan?
No, fuck's sake.
Dylan, what do you think?
Dylan, you there?
No.
Yeah,
What he's not saying.
What do you think of that theory that I've just given?
I don't think it's Caitlin's dad. It's way too obvious. But I also don't think we'll be seeing him in public. But I do think that we have already seen.
Oh,
dad numerous
actually, I
times.
don't. Yeah, by the way, Dylan, I think you're
God
right.
fucking no! Shut up! Let me finish, you piece of shit.
Thank you.
Okay, that was saved for a long plot. Okay, I think we have already seen Caitlyn's dad. And this was not directly, but we have already communicated past in some shape or form. And I think that might tie in with Ralph being so... Like, he's the main... Basically, Ralph's worked with Caitlyn's dad before.
Okay.
And we've seen it.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
It would be interesting. What do you think
Actually,
about...
give me a minute.
What... Okay. Well...
I'm going to find a picture.
Yeah. I'm not flashing any more images up on screen for this podcast, by the way.
Oh, no, I know. I'm just saying.
Yeah, so... What do you think of the family that he... Or the girl he visits in the hospital not being his daughter? Serious question, because I do not think that's his daughter.
Oh, no, nor do I.
I'm thinking it's either a goddaughter or a niece, maybe even a cousin. But definitely not daughter. I think his immediate family is dead. And that is the complete truth of it. I'm thinking his immediate family is dead, and therefore he's trying to stay close and protect his other family.
Okay, I can't find the scene or the picture, but it's basically just where Ralph is with another guy as a client just before Barry comes in or some shit. I forgot what we were seeing, but it was either that or else it was a female. And if you remember, actually, that was it. Whenever we first are introduced to Ralph, we see him speaking with this woman, and he says to the woman, "Your husband isn't really dead. He has moved to another country, changed his name, and married, and remarried." Drops the mic.
Yep, completely. That's certainly a very possible thing.
Can you hear me?
Yes, fortunately.
Finally, my phone's crashed. Thank you, fuckers. My phone's crashed.
Good. See you later. Don't come back.
That's how I feel about 9,000 times a podcast.
Only because you try to cut me off and get annoyed when I try saying something. After you cut me off, that's only.
No, you're the one cutting me
If
off,
you-
motherfucker. Right, say
Oh,
your theory,
fuck
because
you.
I know otherwise you're gonna have a hissy fit about not getting the chance.
My first theory is, you know that guy that we got misled to believe was Cicada?
Yep.
I reckon he's gonna come back. They're not gonna just throw him away like that after they made a big thing about Sherlock always helping catch Cicada, and it's always David Hirsch. I think there's something's gonna happen with him.
What do you think would happen though?
Something's gonna happen with him. I reckon maybe I don't know. Maybe Cicada's actually his twin brother or something stupid like that.
Oh my god!
I don't know.
Oh
Maybe
my
not
god!
stupid. What?
I know what happened to the girl. It was the fucking satellite.
Satellite. Yep.
When the satellite exploded, the shrapnel hit the girl and put her into the coma.
Well, we already know it hit. It always hit. We already know it hits Cicada and carved the chunk out of him.
Was that what hit him? That's how he
Well,
got the
he's
dark
got-
matter then.
Maybe. However, there's only one problem with that.
Yep.
Obviously, all that shrapnel is sharp here, and also his Cicada's dagger has the word labs on it.
Yeah.
So that's to do with Star Labs.
Yep.
But then, so that being from the satellite, yeah? How the fuck did he get it? How the fuck did he get that that dagger and get it back to his lair, like that house that we saw in the trailer, even before Barry's even fucking finished running away from the satellite scene? How the fuck did he get there so quickly then?
I know how it worked.
How?
His weapon.
Yeah, how?
It's a
Don't
mixture
say me
between Barry's power and Nora's power. Barry's speed and Nora's ability to rewind time.
What? You think he's come from the future?
No. No,
Oh, 'cause
not at
someone-
all.
This is
someone
going
else
to
watching
require
it.
some explanation.
Basically,
Yeah.
you know how it's obviously a pop salad.
Pardon?
Right?
You say that again?
It's obviously the Starlabs satellite.
Yeah.
Like, there's no doubt about that. It's a piece off of that.
Yeah.
So,
It's just
oh,
laps, for fuck's sake.
oh,
What?
oh.
Stop fearing.
Whenever
Desmond.
Nora rewound time and punched the satellite, there was a huge concentration of dark matter because she was using her powers. And it wasn't just any power, it was probably one of her strongest abilities to rewind time a very short amount of time. So whenever she punched it, she transferred a bunch of dark matter to the satellite. So whenever it exploded, it hit off of Cicada, which then, in a sense, he absorbed that dark matter, which gave him the powers. And whenever he's holding the bolt, or he can, in a sense, transfer some of that power to, or all the power to the bolt. And because that bolt was also what gave him his powers, it's the only thing that he can use to concentrate his powers.
Yeah, because I gave this theory with...
That was exactly what Kanan was saying. That's exactly what Kanan was saying.
Yeah,
and
but
after
on
I
a
saw,
much smaller
after I saw that
scale.
episode,
On a
after I
much
saw
smaller
that
scale,
carved, after I saw that bit of him carved out, what that bit of flesh carved out of him, and saw the dark matter, I was like, yeah, Kanan was right then.
I was always
'Cause
thinking
you
it
rang me
was
up halfway
very
through-
much to do with him having lightning-based powers, but he could only use them through the dagger, similar to what happened with Thor in Thor Ragnarok, if you will. Like that.
Oh, and like
gave him the strength.
Blackout in season 1, he was struck by lightning as well, but he had electric powers, but
Yeah.
obviously a different way this time.
Yeah, no, I still think there are definitely some lightning-based powers that Cicada has, but he's.
As
gonna
well,
use the
I
dagger
reckon
for
he
them.
also immortality as well. Immortality, he has to be in a
Yeah.
sense because
I think the immortality, though, is whenever he kills people. And what he's
Yeah, that's
currently
how it
did, the
works in
reason
comics.
why he's killing
Dylan,
people...
you're saying that's how you think it works in this. In the comics, that's exactly how his powers work.
Dylan, let me
That's exactly how it
fucking
works.
finish!
Stop retreading our ground.
Thank you. Okay. As I was saying, he is absorbing the powers out of other people to get it for the girl. But also, by him doing that, it is killing him. Because whenever he transfers it, in a sense, to that girl, he also has to transfer a bit of his own.
Yeah.
So it's slowly
That's,
killing him, which is why the
yeah.
wound isn't healing and why the nurse says he has to stop.
Yeah, that does make sense. But yeah, in the comics, obviously, his mission in the comics was to absorb the life force of people saved by the Flash, so he could resurrect his dead wife, who he killed. And he was a bit of I told this came last week. He's a bit of an idiot. He resurrected his dead wife. She remembered that he murdered her, so he basically shrugged his shoulders, killed her again. It's like
He's an idiot
what?
in that regard, but in the show he is a lot more intelligent because I am convinced, 100%, no doubt
course-
in my mind, that that girl
Of course
is
he's more
Doctor's
intelligent.
daughter.
Of course he's more intelligent in the show. He's not a fucking preacher.
Oh my god. Oh
What?
god.
Yep.
What?
That girl is his wife.
You think?
Oh my god, no, wait. That would actually make sense. Nora's power is to rewind time.
No, it's not.
Stop the shrapnel.
Her power
That...
is speed. Her power is speed.
No, obviously her
Remember, she
power
has
is speed,
self-care.
but she has the ability to rewind time, yeah?
Every
What
speed's
if
the
by
best,
her doing that, by her doing that, it transferred obviously some dark matter. And what if that dark matter rewound the person that it hit?
Oh.
And the person that it basically 2 bits of shrapnel hit a couple walking down the street. One being Cicada, one being his wife. 2 different effects, 2 different abilities.
I'm curious though, how the fuck does this nurse know what he's doing and is not telling the police?
Relative?
I mean, my theory with the whole that's his daughter. My theory was that the nurse was his wife.
That what was his wife?
The nurse.
Yeah, the nurse. That's my theory. If that is his daughter, the nurse is his wife. That's why
I'm
she's keeping it
convinced
secret.
it's not daughter or
Well,
wife.
no, because the nurse is black and that child is white. That's not even me trying to be racist.
Boy.
That's just basic genetics.
You do realise, there have been cases where a black couple have had a white baby, and I'm not talking about albino. I'm talking Caucasian. There has been cases, so it's not too far fetched. He's white anyway.
But through genetics, it's impossible.
No, it's not. You do. I've got black in me. I'm as white as me.
Moving on. On to.
Sorry,
well,
people, for that mini science lesson.
Moving on.
Even though it wasn't a real lesson.
I'm
Yep.
convinced it's not daughter or wife. I do think both of them are dead, and he wants to bring them both back. But,
Yeah, definitely. I do think he wants to bring them back as well, which is why he's going after the humans, exterminate them because they cause him all that pain, and then like he even said about the pain and stuff like that, do with families stuff like that. He was doing.
yeah,
Joe.
because
Yeah,
he
basically
certainly knew what he
killed
was
the
talking
life
about.
force. Yeah.
But also, there's no doubt in my mind that it's not a wife or daughter. I'm thinking it's a cousin, a goddaughter, niece.
Yeah, so you think Joe's saying?
You're very fucking quiet. Get a better mic.
Well, I did have a better one a second ago, but you made me use it for so long it fucking crashed. Because phones don't have phones don't have external microphones. Anyway, so you're basically saying you think Joe's saying that he thinks he's a father, like that Cicada's a father. You think that's a red herring, yeah? You think that's misleading to us?
Not entirely misleading because I think
I'm gonna have to bear back. I'm getting called.
Alright.
Not entirely misleading. I'm saying he probably was a father, but his child is dead, and I don't think it was to do with anything to do with the Starlab satellite. He got his dagger from there.
Yeah.
I won't dispute that, but I don't.
Yeah,
think
because
that
it
was
has labs on. It has labs on the side of it. That dagger has to be from the
The
satellite.
only other place it could have come from somehow would have been Mercury Labs, but it's not going to be that one. It didn't happen. But
Pardon, is that again?
the only other possible place it could have come from, or anything like that, to have labs on the hilt would have been to do with Mercury Labs, but that's not going to happen.
They haven't really said anything about Mercury Labs since what, season 2?
No, they haven't. But also,
Wait, I think they briefly mentioned it in season 3 actually, doing Caitlyn, but that's about it.
I don't remember. But the point is, I don't think it's a red herring. I do think he was a father, but I think his wife and daughter, or son, were killed.
Yeah.
But it wasn't anything to do with the satellite.
Yeah, someone I watched the reaction.
Can you actually try
you
and make yourself clearer, because you're very quiet and very hard to hear.
1 minute. Let me go in my bathroom and see if it'd be better in there.
Okay, is this any better?
No,
Is that any better?
barely.
So there's some improvements, yes. But like you said, just barely.
Just barely.
Okay. Is it still just barely better now?
Tolerable.
Okay. Well, basically, I've got my fucking hand on my fucking nose while holding my phone, talking to it like I'm a fucking retard. So thank you.
I kind of gathered that. Anyway, say what you were going to say.
Anyway, yeah, as I was about to say, Dylan had the theory of basically it rewound. It rewound
I don't believe
his
that,
wife.
though. I don't believe that, because I don't.
Could happen. It would be interesting. You got to admit, it would be interesting, but it might not happen. It probably won't happen, but it would be interesting.
I should
Yeah,
point
it would be
out,
interesting.
podcast has been going for 2 hours and 19 minutes.
However, so we've got about another 15 left on it in total at maximum because, of course, you spent extra long beforehand. So, your fault. But, yeah, a reaction I watched, they said, I think it was Abnormally Adam, I think it was.
Never
He
heard
said,
of it.
I'm pretty sure he's... Jesus. Yeah, he thinks that, he loves West Island, so you probably would hate him.
Potentially.
But yeah, you probably would actually. But yeah, he thinks that David Hirsch.
Yep.
He thinks that's Cicada, but the Cicada we saw is actually from the future a little bit, and he thinks that David Hirsch is Cicada before he became Cicada.
How the fuck would that work though? Unless it's the fact
Dunno.
that he's come back in time and he's taken a new name.
Yep. When he came along with Nora maybe or something like that, or maybe
I always ran the idea through my mind that Cicada had come chasing her back through time, but that was very early on, and I very quickly dismissed that. I even imagined what you'd say, and you would when I imagined what you'd say about that, you were pretty much just like, you're a fucking idiot.
I actually find the actual idea to be clever. So I bet
No,
you
that's what you were saying to me when I was thinking about this very early on, before we knew about anything to do with the season.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, maybe it could be a combination of what Dylan was saying. Maybe Cicada found the maybe in the future when he gets that dagger, maybe eventually it transferred him back through time or something like that. And that's how that can be.
It wouldn't be
that's
very
how it
likely,
could be.
though, would it?
Yeah, there's one big
having
hole.
a dagger that can travel, that could allow you to travel through time, would be a stretch even by this show's standards. Because we've
So would it be a bit too much like the Time Stone?
It would, but
Jim.
also it would be a bit too much because one, he's already been proven to suck life force with it. He's been shown to be able to shoot lightning.
Dampen powers.
He can
dampen
telekinetically
powers.
move it. He can create shields, and the motherfucker can fly with it. I think, unless there are a few other minor things they plan to show us, that's probably the bulk of it. But it's going to grow on a much larger scale as he kills more metahumans.
However, with the whole life force and lightning thing, I think that's all one power, but there's different it's different parts of it. Basically,
there's different aspects of it. Entirely possible.
Because where it's in their DNA, their powers are part of their life force. Yeah. So that has to affect different parts of someone's life force. So I think that lightning, dampening powers, or life force. I think that's all one thing.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. Also, I mean, obviously we know it is taking life force anyway, because we saw when he stabbed Gridlock, the lightning went into the dagger.
He stabbed Gridlock, he stabbed Block, but it hadn't taken hers. I think they interrupted before he had been able to do that. So I think
it's because he
personally, it's not done automatically.
Yeah, because of course, when he did it with Gridlock, he was obviously there, but with Block, he wasn't there, was he? He telekinetically pushed it through the air and stuff around the corner and that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it wasn't there when he did it, because of course he then withdrew the dagger immediately. Because of course, obviously there's a lot of metas, and he knows that. There's a lot stay hidden, kind of idea.
I think as over time he's going to get stronger with his powers, which, if he does, that does give him a lot more credibility to being a season-long big bad. But he'll take a backseat for a while.
However, it feels a bit too much. That feels a bit like too much like Divine, wouldn't it?
Well, no, because this guy's powers he's had from the beginning, and he's not going to be completely overpowered. It's just going to be to the point that he is the season-long big bad. So I think there'll be the climactic fight in episode 7. He'll go off, kill some metas off the radar. Then he'll be taking a back seat. We don't see any of it.
Oh yeah, do you find it? Do you still find it ironic that the Thinker was killed by them not thinking?
Pretty much. But then again, this was season 4 of The Flash we're talking about. The worst Arrowverse season to ever grace our screens.
Yes. It's tolerable, but
not even
is
tolerable.
It the worst?
Not even
It's
tolerable.
for me. It's for me, and there you go, I'm pretty patient actually, so...
I ran out of patience with this.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
Yeah, about episode 10 we ran out of patience. Because you started losing it in 9, and you lost it in 10.
Yeah,
lost it. You started losing it in 8. 8, actually. No, 7.
Yeah.
Then, yeah.
But fun fact, like the day before the season finale, someone said, someone claimed to be like working on that episode. And he said, "Oh, just remember the words shrimp buffet." Next day, no, I watched it. I was like,
Oh, shrimp buffet. Wait a second, that motherfucker. Yeah, and everyone's like, oh my fucking god. Yeah. I was like, because it seemed like fake. Oh, shrimp buffet, what the fuck? And then Neto came out, and everyone's like, fuck.
That was stupid. As was
Yeah.
99%
Yeah, actually, that was
of
Ralph.
season.
That was a character. That was his character.
It was.
Besides, he was podgy. He ate quite a bit before he got his powers. So knowing all different dishes isn't far out the realms of possibility.
Yeah. So, are there any final
Making
theories
me
you
hungry.
have? Because I think Dylan is away for something.
Yeah, unfortunately so. At least you got A Dylan to start it and A Dylan to finish it. But
I'm gonna get him
yeah,
to
of
replace
course.
you on the podcast until you've got a better microphone, because I really fucking need.
Yeah, actually, you won't be able. I actually you're gonna try that. However, you'll realise that he can be a bit more annoying than me at times. And I don't care if he knows. I don't care if he's back and he can hear this and he's
He's
sitting there
not.
listening. How'd you know? He
Because
could
he's
be.
still muted. He'd have unmuted if he was back straight away.
So he's done it before. He's like, yeah, I'm here. I was just eating. No idea. But yeah, he can be a bit more annoying at me at times. So he's fucking.
At least
Quite
it'll be
annoying.
consistent in terms of the quality of the sound and everything.
Yeah, the only reason
But
Because
I reckon that's about it for the podcast really this week. Do you?
1 second. Let me just run it from my head. Went for that theory. Or went for that theory. Yep, we're pretty much done.
Yeah, because I've got no more theories and he doesn't really have
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah, I can feel
I
it.
reckon that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for watching the podcast this week. Thank you to DylanChill for joining us. We might invite him back next week as well, or I'll have him come
Maybe.
on. Or I'll have him
However,
replace.
he will not be replacing me, as I am the life source of this fucking show. So,
In
I'm not
terms
getting
of what,
replaced.
being an absolute annoying prick who I hope would just jump off the Empire State Building or something similar.
Or something similar this time, just to save yourself. It's because I
Still,
can't go to
in-
America.
I will ask you, sir, what powers do you have?
Oh, I have telekinesis, sir.
Oh, okay, what can you lift?
Oh, I can lift this dagger.
Okay, why do you have a dagger, sir?
Because I'm a cosplayer.
So I'm assuming it's plastic.
Yes, it is.
So why's that person got stab wounds or something on his hands?
Because
You just cut out while we were doing it.
Because it's plastic. It was sharp plastic, okay? Don't condemn me just because I'm a cosplayer. There should be rules against cosplayers being bullied.
Can I ask you why it's shaped like a lightning bolt?
Pardon?
Why is it shaped like a lightning bolt?
Because I'm a nerd that loves the Flash and Harry Potter.
Are there any other powers you have, sir?
I can fly.
Okay, what else?
I can make force fields.
Anything else we should know about?
I'm immortal and I can steal your life force if you don't hire me.
Brilliant! You'll be perfect for the role. Yeah, so thank you everyone for watching the podcast. That was a nice little bonus thing me and Dylan have sort of done as a joke, but that's like...
You don't say, sir.
of it.
You don't say, sir.
I do say, sir, do you say?
I do say, sir. Do you say Dylan if you're back? If not, then fuck you.
He's not back.
Fuck. Then fuck you, Dylan.
Yeah, fuck you too, Savitar.
Well, have a good day, evening, night, where the fuck you are. Have a good moon day if you're on the moon.
That was just
be force
completely
feed.
fucking random. Also, I will say now, just before this ends, this is the longest podcast we have ever done.
How long is it? 2 hours and...
It is nearly 2.5 hours.
Yeah, that is the longest we've ever done. Wow.
Not intentional,
Oh, yeah,
but there
because
we
you-
are.
That's only because do you know why? On the podcast, on record, do you know why it is that long? Because first of all, you didn't call me when you wanted to start. Then you spent 20 minutes fucking around.
We were
and then you
discussing
fucking-
the news. You know what? That's a new segment
Yeah.
we're doing for every podcast. Is we're going to discuss the news.
Fuck's sake. Fuck's sake. And then the other reason it was so long because you kept kicking me and drawing me back. It was like you had to take even longer to do stuff. So I hope you learn from the experience. Don't keep on fucking kicking me. Then it won't be as long, and then you can go back to your therapeutic exercises after.
You mean
get
silence
to
and
them
wishing
quicker.
death upon you for all eternity?
Yes, you can get to that quicker.
Well, thank you everyone for watching the podcast. Thank you to DylanChill for joining us. Thank you, Savitar, for being here and completely ruining everyone's sanity per usual.
You're welcome.
Hopefully we'll never see you on the podcast again.
Until I've got a better mic, you mean? However, don't worry, people, I'll be here next week. Because even if I'm not the main co-host, he'll bring me in for the theory part. So, oh well.
But thank you everyone for watching. Have a good day, night, evening, or even morning. And as always,
May the plot force be with you.
that's a new one.